All right. Hello, everybody. There's only two people here right now. That's fine. Even if there's just one person, I'm still going to go ahead with the stream. Before I start, if either of one of the two of you want to be a guest and actually be on the show and talk and ask me questions directly, just let me know and I will send you the link so you could join in. If not, you can just ask me questions through the comments. If everybody could hear me good and everybody understands, please press 1. Hi, Prism. Thanks for coming. If you want to be a part of the show, let me know. If not, I will go soon. I will start soon, I mean. Lady, if you want to be part of the show, like I said. Okay, so you want to be on the show, Prism? All right, whoever wants to be on could be on. I'm going to send the link. All you got to do is click on it, put a very tiny amount of information, and you could join. I could have multiple people. I could have up to 6 people in here. So I'm going to send the link now. By the way, if anybody hears me with a delay, you need to um, go to this link that I'm gonna send you and turn off the YouTube app. You don't have to be shy. I'm fairly new at this. I'm not a professional or anything. I'm just trying to share truth with anybody who's willing to listen. So don't worry. Like there's no stupid questions. There's nothing to be shy about. So I sent the link. You can follow it if you want to be on, and I'll put you in. Right now, I'm just waiting for Prism for her to come onto the chat. While I wait, I want to say that I've been pretty pissed today. Just thinking about the things I learned a few days ago and also more connections that I'm seeing today. Um, it's kind of infuriating how deceived we've been. Hey, you're on. Can you talk? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So, before I begin, do you have any questions that may have come up in since last night?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm just going to see if there's a delay to turn off. Hang on a minute.
Okay.
Um, I'm just putting this volume off. Hang on. What, me?
I could hear
I
you. Can you
don't
hear
have
me?
any. Yeah, I don't have any questions.
Okay. All right. So last night, I did a short recording and I put that video, and unfortunately, I got a copyright strike, so they didn't let me upload it.
What? Which one was that? What was that called?
The one last night that I showed you, the Final Masquerade by Linkin Park. Re-
Oh, I was there for
Remember, I put
part of that.
yeah,
I
I
saw
didn't
that.
upload.
I saw the upload though. Did they take it down again or something?
Well, it says it won't be available in certain countries, so maybe it's available to you, but it doesn't show up on my end, like if it's there. So
It's where you had one girl in the chat, wasn't there?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I saw that.
yeah, you saw it, but it doesn't appear as an upload on my channel. But
All
oh
right,
well.
okay.
So we got a few people here. If anybody else wants to get into the panel, just follow that link and I'll put you on. We just got to take turns speaking, though. Let's not talk over each other.
Okie dokie.
All right. So, um, before I start, do you see an option to share your screen by any chance?
I don't. I told you, for some reason, we've tried it with gaming before. It doesn't seem to work.
Okay. All right. So, whoever's listening, if you can, go to Revelation chapter 21.
Okay.
And when you guys are there, please put a one in the chat so I know we're all on the same page. Yeah, Chester's great, Kara. Um, I will talk about him more later, but I'm gonna stick to the Bible for this episode. Anybody in here, please go to Revelations chapter 21, and when you're there, put one in the chat, please. I'm gonna wait a few minutes.
I'm there, but this chat that I've got here, I can't press anything on it.
Okay. Just stay there, and we'll. Okay, Kara's there. I'm waiting for Lady E if she's still in here. Actually, go back to Google if you're using the internet and put Revelations chapter 21 and then put N as in Nancy, A as in Apple, S as in Sam, and B as in boy, because it's a little bit easier to understand than the King James version.
Okie doke.
All right, did everybody get that version up, or are you still looking for it?
Got it.
I need confirmation in the chat, please.
My arrow's not working. My mouse isn't working.
All right, well, I'm about to start. If you're not there, please get there soon. So, would you would you mind reading it if it's okay with you?
Who?
You actually, and start
Me? Okay.
Just read verse 17. That's all you got to read.
17. Okay, hang on a second. Told you my mouse is playing up. Right, I'm nearly there. Right. So it starts and he measured its wall. Is it that?
Yes.
And he measured its wall 72 yards according to human measurements, which are also angelic measurements. The material of the wall was jasper, and the city was pure gold, like clear glass. The foundation stones of the city wall were adorned with every kind of precious stone. The first foundation stone was jasper, the second sapphire, the third, how do you pronounce the third one, please? Chalcedony,
Mhm.
the fourth emerald, the fifth sardonyx, the sixth sardius, the seventh chrysolite, the eighth beryl, the ninth topaz, the tenth chrysoprase, the 11th jacinth, the 12th amethyst. And the 12 gates were 12 pearls. Each one of the gates was a single pearl, and the street of the city was pure gold, like transparent glass.
All right, stop there. Stop there.
Okay,
All right. So the first thing we're going to focus on is the measurement. It says the walls were 72 yards. Okay. And it says which are also angelic measurements. So they're saying human and angelic measurements, it's the same, 72 yards. Now, why am I there? Well, numbers are very important and they connect. So I'm going to go over what's important about the number 72. Okay. So, are you guys familiar with gematria?
not very.
Let me check the chat if anybody's saying anything. Okay, legend, no problem. Just listen. I will try to do this earlier, probably on the weekend, but in the weekdays this is like the best time for me. Um, all right, so gematria is basically giving numerical value to words or phrases. Um, it's a Jewish practice. So if we go to the gematria for 72, it says it represents the number of the earth. That's one of the things. In the Bible, Jesus sent 72 disciples to go preaching. He had the 12 main disciples, and then there was also 72. In the Old Testament, there were 70 ancients, accompanying Moses when they got the Spirit, plus two were absent and remained in the camp. So there's 72 again. Also, there's 72 races that came from Noah after the flood. There were also 72 languages that were confused at the Tower of Babel. All right. There were 72 disciples of Confucius, if anybody knows who that is. According to the Sohar, the ladder that Jacob climbed had 72 steps. The name of God is composed by 72 letters. according to Kabbalistic tradition. All right, it's a big list. I'm going over the most important ones because some things are take long to explain. There were 72 Jewish translators, six of each tribe. Osiris, which is a another god, he was in the coffin. He was put in the coffin by 72 disciples of Typhoon. In Chinese astrology, there's 36 good stars and 72 bad stars or malevolent stars. The axis of the Earth moves 1 degree every 72 years. World War II lasted 72 months. The volume of Saturn, of the planet Saturn, is 72 times greater than Earth. The average pulse of a human is 72 beats per minute. The body is 72% water. The word curse, like a curse, is used 72 times in the Bible. 66 times in the Old Testament and 6 times in the New Testament. So the word curse is used 72 times in the Bible, 66 in the Old, and 6 times in the New, which that would be 666. If you multiply 6 times 12, gives you 72. So, what do you guys think of the relation to that number?
There's something about it for sure.
Now, from everything I read, which I'm sure there's more things, but from that list, if you notice, some things were good and some things were not so good. Oh, another one that I missed. There's 72 different names for God in the Bible. Now, in numerology, sometimes when you reverse a number is connected. So I decided to reverse the number and it would be 27. And I found it interesting how in Genesis chapter 27, God promises to the Israelites that the earth will be inherited to them, or they will be the rulers of the earth. So God has 72 names, there's 72 races of people, and in Genesis 27, God promises that the whole earth will belong to the Israelites. Now let's go back to Revelation 21. I mean, chapter 21, sorry. This time, let me see if it's. Sorry, I have like a whole bunch of links open. It's hard going through them. Let's go to Revelation 21, and we're going to look at another description of another part of the description. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, so for some reason, actually, let me see. If you go to go to verse 16 if you can for me, please.
Okay, hang on, I've got to arrow this back up again. By the way, on this pause, it looks like I do have the option to share the screen,
Oh, that's great.
but whether it'll work or not, I don't know. But shall I read first?
Yeah, read it and then try because it would be amazing if they could see this instead of having everybody look it up.
Okay. The city is laid out as a square, and its length is as great as the width. And he measured the city with the rod, 1,500 miles. Its length and width and height are equal. And he measured its wall, 72 yards according to human measurements, which are
Okay, stop
also
there.
angelic measurements. Okay.
Stop there. Okay, so if you go if you don't go to that specific translation that I told you to go to, um, you won't see 72 yards. You'll see 144 cubits. That's the original, but 144 cubits is 72 yards, excuse me. So, Aaron, does the number 144 mean anything to you?
Yes, isn't it meant to be the remnant or something? Or no, 144,000 are the remnant, aren't they, that are supposedly going to be saved?
Yes, I believe this has to do with that. Um, it's just a repeat of the number, you know what I mean, without the zeros.
Right.
There is a verse that I will look later, and that Jesus explains that those saved will be inside the kingdom or the New Jerusalem, and there will be people left outside the walls and they can't go in. So the remnant is probably the people inside the kingdom, which is probably the 144,000, which makes sense why the walls were 144 cubits thick, which is 72, which again, like I said, 72 names of God. Now, what I find interesting is, like I said, when you multiply, you usually go up to 12, right? When they show you the
Yeah.
multiplication table, it's usually, 1 times 1, 1 times 2, 1 times 3, all the way to 12. And then it repeats. Or like I said earlier, 6 times 12 is 72. So you could put the number 6 12 times. Now, the 6 is the number of man, and 666 is the number of the beast. Now, if the beast is evil, why would the measurements of the new city be be products of the number 6, just like 12 is a product of the number 6? 6 times 2 is 12. Something else that's interesting, the Bible has 66 books in it. And I believe, I'm not sure how many are in the Old Testament, but I know the New Testament has 27 books, which is 72 reversed. Got any comments or questions before I go on to the next thing?
You you said about you're saying okay, asking of six can be bad because of the correlations with the biblical books. But I'm not trying to be funny or anything. But you said that, well, you've hinted that the Bible isn't good in a way. So
Yes.
I'm stuck on that one.
Well, that's what I'm trying to convey is the beast, the number 666, and God is supposed to be good. So why does God use the number 6 so many times?
Because the God of the Bible is the beast.
Well, yeah, I've come to that realization, but
Now
the
I know
point of
you
this
have.
video the point of this video is to show evidence of it, to those who have not noticed it.
I know.
So another thing I found interesting is there's 70 nations, I believe, in the United Nations. So, like I read earlier in the 72, in the in one of the books that talks about Moses, he goes with 70 people and then two others stay in the camp. So maybe it's 70 nations and the other twos are the ruling parties of the 70 nations. I think that's a possibility. Another thing, I don't know if you know this. Some other people have made videos on this. Have you read Daniel where it speaks of the beast that is like a lion, a leopard, and a bear?
I remember that, yeah.
Those one and then the great beast. I think it's the lion, the leopard, and the bear, and then the wild beast or the great beast. For those that don't know and are listening to this, if you also look in the Old Testament, God compares himself to a lion, a leopard, and a bear, and a wild beast, in separate occasions. Now, from what I've studied, I keep noticing that the Bible is mainly about two separate types of beings, I guess you could say, or human beings. Um, for example, Cain and Abel, Jacob and Esau, the Gentiles and the Jews, the wheat and the tares, the wicked and the righteous. So let me show you this. So I'm gonna speak to you, Aaron, since you're here on the panel.
Okay.
Do you know what Strong's concordance is?
A concordance is it gives alternative translations, does it, for things in the Bible?
Yeah, it's basically going back to the original translation of words,
Hmm.
for certain words. Now there's this strong concordance that I looked up, and I randomly just put 6666. I put four sixes, and I put
Okay.
Strong's concordance, and this is what comes out. Strong's concordance 6666 means grace.
Okay, but where does that originate from?
Okay, so I'll do this for you. Put
Okay.
let me see if I could post the link.
Okay.
This is from the website Bible Gateway.
Okay.
I'm gonna post it now. Remember, you are saved by grace according to the Bible.
That's right.
So according to them, grace means 6666.
Okay.
I send the link. Check if you could click on it.
Okay. Come on, arrow. Where's it gone? Mm. Hold on. Sorry. Right. Hang on. Right. It's coming. Good. Right. I've got it.
All right, so you see it?
Oh, yeah. And it's got 6668 Grace and Jesus Christ and different alternatives. Yeah.
Yeah. And grace and salvation, 6669. Grace and Holy Spirit, 6670. Grace and Christian life, 6671. And grace in human relationships, 6672. There's that number again.
We also lose the third six once we get to grace and the Holy Spirit, though, because we go on to 70.
True, but to me, there's still a lot of sixes there.
Yeah. I'm not arguing.
And I'll give you one more for you. Let me see if I post the link here so you could go to it.
Okay.
Here
You
you
know, when
go.
I said it's so strange, in this new paradigm, because when I said the beast is in the Bible, I was like, it's like blaspheming, isn't it?
Well, yeah,
For
if we were
most.
wrong, if we were wrong, we're doing the most horrible sin possible. So I'm gonna say this right
But we're
now.
not.
Whoever's listening, if you're scared to go to hell, I think you should leave this live stream right now because this is dangerous territory.
But it's not against the Holy Spirit, though, is it? We can be forgiven until it's against the Holy Spirit.
Well, I looked that up, and I'll tell you right now. Like I said, I'll give you a warning. I looked it up. What is blasphemy against the Holy Spirit? And it actually means, or according to Christians, I guess, if you just reject simply that Jesus died and resurrected, that's already blasphemy. So
Okay.
I see one
Well,
person
God,
left.
I'm
We
keeping
had
an open
three, now
mind.
we have two. So I think somebody got scared.
No, I think they'd left before.
Oh,
Or am
okay.
I the only person left?
No, there's two, and two
There are
it's
two.
besides
Good,
me.
good,
I
good,
don't know
good.
who it is, but everybody's fairly quiet.
The Muslim guy left. That's a shame.
Yeah. Well, he said it
I
was
think
late
he,
for him.
I think he really wants to know more, though.
Yeah, he said it's 4 in the morning, so everybody's asleep. I have to be quiet. So,
Okay.
anyways, did you go to that new link I sent?
Oh, right. I've got to go to it now. Hang on a sec. What's it called again? Have I got enough
Um,
screens? Yeah.
it should be there. It's BibleHub.com forward
Oh,
slash Hebrew slash 6666.htm.
oh, yeah. Yeah. I got that now. Yeah.
So what's it say?
Well, it's got a word TSEDAQAH. Oh, righteousness.
So we have grace and righteousness, meaning 6666. Now, this is my thing, right? If if God is good and 666, the Antichrist or the beast, is evil, why use so many numbers connected to the beast as good things like grace and righteousness? Now, people might say, "Whoa, that's not the Bible. That's the Strong's Concordance or or that's the Bible Hub or whatever. But it's still perverting because people use these as study guides. When somebody goes to become a pastor, they study these things, so they know that these words have that number. So my point is, if this is some type of corruption, then how does God allow it when the Bible, according to everybody, it's supposed to be God breathed and perfect?
Can I just ask a question?
Go ahead.
Um, 666 people are, oh, over time I've heard this a lot, and I've tended to believe it now myself, is that they say it's not the beast, that it says it's the number of a man, doesn't it, in the Bible?
No,
And
the six alone is the number of man.
okay, but some people say it relates to our dimensions, like a man being about 6 foot, and there's 6 foot width from fingertip to fingertip if you spread your arms out, and something to do with DNA as well, I think.
Well, we're coded with that number. We have six sorry, 6 electrons, 6 protons, and 6 neutrons.
Yeah, that as well. So doesn't it mean that? Why are we assuming it's the beast?
Well, let's put it this way though. So either the number got corrupted and it's not a bad number, or we were created by the beast.
But from what I've been understanding from yourself and before I listened to you the other night, that's the new thing that I'm trying to get my head round is that we were created by the beast.
Well, this is okay. Let me try to make this clear. I am firm in that belief, just like you are. But this video is not just for you and me. This is for people who might still believe that the God of the Bible is good and it's not the beast, and that a good God created us and not the beast. So you got to understand, I'm doing this video for people that are being deceived by these things, not just specifically people that know what we know.
Yeah, but I know that. It's going to be a difficult one because you know that when you said you left that comment saying about 80% of the Bible is Sorry, the New Testament specifically is satanic. Um, and there's people like myself. So I'm not about to start an argument. Don't worry. People like myself think about the God that Jesus is speaking about in the Bible is like I always used to think, oh, the Old Testament God must be quite bad because he's so jealous and warmongering. So the God in the Bible that Jesus is talking about is the good God. Now, I'm not saying anything. You're the teacher, so I'm not disputing anything you say. What I'm saying is it's going to be hard for a lot of people
Yeah.
said,
I,
especially in relation to this the higher well, the father, isn't it? Not God.
well, the reason I'm doing this is because, like I said, this is a recent revelation for me. So it's either one or two things. Either it's what I used to believe, just like you do, which is Jesus is talking about the higher God and not about the God of the Old Testament, right? Or Jesus is a part of that Old Testament God and he's just lying because if he's the beast, he could lie, he could pretend. The reason why I got to that conclusion that that's a high possibility is the first things we talked about, how he was born, right? He was born from a woman supposedly without having sex with a male. And I said that the only animals in nature that could do that are reptiles. Now, you might say, well, the Gnostics believe that Jesus was the snake in the garden. But this is the problem with that. If he is the snake in the garden, then he's just like the Old Testament God, because the Old Testament God is actually a snake also. So that means they're family. And why do I say that? Well, The God of the Old Testament says he created the snake. The God of the Old Testament also talks about Leviathan. You heard about Leviathan, right?
Are you there?
You can't hear me? If people could hear me, press one, please. Anybody could hear me? Yes, no, maybe. Hello, hello.
Boy.
I don't think Aaron could hear me at this moment. Can you hear me? Okay, Aaron, if you could hear me, come back to the stream. Just click back on the link. I guess they're messing with my stream. They don't want me to say what I want to say. Yes, Lady E. I'm not sure how to pronounce it good. Parthenogenesis. Well, what I was saying is that reptiles are the ones who could actually do that type of birth. So I find it curious how the mother of Jesus was able to give birth the same way as the reptiles or the serpent does. And not only that, but her name means rebellion, which is what the snake did. So why do I come to this? If you go to one of the oldest stories, there's going to be a little bit of a repeat of last stream. If anybody's heard the stories of Anki and Enlil, Anki agreed to have humans' DNA manipulated in order so they could become slaves, so they could mine gold. And then, without the permission of Enlil, Enki did a further manipulation which allowed humans to reproduce. And thus, Enlil got mad because they were making too much noise, according to that. So my point is, Enki and Enlil is almost a parallel of God and the serpent. I think being able to reproduce, which is en what Enki did to humans, has to do with eating the knowledge of good and evil. And if you keep reading that story, it ends by after Enlil causes the flood and Enki saves people and tells them to build an ark, just like in the Bible. Enki and Enlil argue, but they come to an agreement saying that they will allow humans to reproduce and stay alive as long as there's not too much of them. If there's ever too much, they would depopulate the earth. So my point is, if we're gonna say Jesus is the snake in the garden, which is what Gnostics believes, then what if that is um Enki, and they're both playing games with humanity and just using us and then depopulating us whenever it's convenient for them. Because one thing that the New Testament and the Old Testament have in common is this great day of fury where God is going to punish humanity by killing off a bunch of people. And Jesus says the same thing. When he comes back, it says his whole garments, his clothes are going to be filled with blood from the people that he's going to kill, and then he's going to send them to the lake of fire. So, what I'm trying to show is, can we really trust Jesus and his message? It's either his message got corrupted or he's not really on our side. Now, there's only one person here at this moment. Can you please let me know who you are by pressing one if you still hear me? And yes, Lady E, I actually heard about that. That women, I actually heard that humans were only women at the beginning, and that they were only producing women, and it was basically clones because the only DNA was coming from the mother until these beings came and they mixed with us or with women, and thus males came about. I'm not sure about that. I need to do more research on that, but I don't know if that's what you're talking about, Lady E, if you're still here. Whoever's here, okay. All right, thanks, Lady E. Thanks for still being here. And Prism, I'm glad you're back. I'm gonna put you back on if you don't mind, because your screen was actually showing, so I want to try that again so people could see from your screen. So I'm gonna send the link again, and I'll wait for you to be there. Again, guys, I'm sorry if I kind of stutter or stop. Like I said, I'm not a professional. This has no edits. I'm just going based on research I've done these last few days, and I'm going with the flow. So I'm sorry if it's not the best presentation. I'm gonna give it a few seconds to see if Aaron could come back on. So I'm gonna put a link. So whoever's here, you could go to that link, please, so we could be on the same page. I You could read ahead if you want, but I would prefer if you wait before you read the page. So I'm gonna send it right now. By the way, Lady E, I would love if you wouldn't be shy and come on here because I feel like you have some good information about the women um, and the virgin birth and stuff because that's something I'm actually new in. So if you have more details on it, would be great. but it's okay if you don't want to get on. And yeah, it might be a reason why they take away the mother out of the aspect of God. Maybe these reptilian beings hated that women didn't need men to reproduce. So when they were able to mix with them, which I'm almost sure it was by force, since they see that they think that they're better, maybe that's why they try to erase the mother out of the equation. All right. Seems like Aaron is having trouble here. I'm guessing Lady E is the only one here. So, Lady E, if you're on the link that I just posted, please let me know. Okay, lady. Thanks anyway. I appreciate it. And don't be shy to comment whatever you want. I'm not perfect. We're not perfect. We're all on a ride here. Hey, in the groove, would you mind coming on, man? I need some help because I want to present this information like so people could read it in the video, but I'm on a phone and the option is only available for people with laptops or computers. So if you could help me out, man, by presenting the information, it would be great.
What's up, man?
Hey, man, thank you, man.
Yeah, hey, you been seeing my chat, comments in chat at all?
I could say you're what?
My comments in the chat. Did you see any?
I see your icon,
No,
the
I mean
little.
in the chat comments. You see me?
The only thing I saw was hi, and then earlier you're like, I'm just listening.
Okay,
You
because
could,
when you were asking if anybody could hear me, I was saying, yeah, I hear you. I didn't know if you were, you couldn't see it or something. I didn't know if there was something going on.
yeah, that's why. That's why. I sorry I didn't answer you, but I didn't answer because since you said you could hear me and you could hear both of us, I just kept talking. 'Cause-
Oh, okay. No, my bad. No, I was just listening, dude. I'll jump back off. You can keep talking because I'm just listening what you're talking
No,
about.
I actually want
Yeah.
you here,
Okay. All right.
regardless if you could share your screen or not. But if you can, that would be great.
What do you mean share my screen?
So there should be a way, an option here in StreamYard where you could share your screen on here, like whatever's
Uh,
on your screen.
on a laptop? I mean, telephone, cell phone?
It only works on a laptop, honestly.
Yeah, that's why I don't. I'm on a cell
Ah,
phone.
damn. Yeah, Prism had it. She was doing it, but then she got disconnected, and it looks like she's having trouble because she keeps popping in and out. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, I got you. That's how you were screen sharing, showing stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's why I haven't done more either videos or streams in that format because I'm on a phone, so that's the
yeah.
only way I have cell service out here, internet.
Well, right now it says only one person's here. I'm not. I'm guessing it's you. I'm not even sure.
Huh.
But
It said one when I was in there with Lady E too, so I think that's off or something.
okay. Hopefully she's still here. Um, if you don't mind, do you see the link that I posted? It says writingthebeast.com slash
Yeah.
numbers.
Uh,
Do you see that?
yeah.
If you can, go there. If you don't mind.
Okay, let me see if I can. Oh,
I don't know if you were here when I was talking that in the Strong's Concordance, 6666 means grace. I don't know if you heard that part.
I caught the very end of it. I didn't catch the great. What does it mean?
According to I think it was Bible Gateway, which is like one of
Okay,
the main pages to
right.
go look at the Bible. Supposedly it means the grace of God.
Okay, I'm looking at your link now. And so you're
So
saying this is the opposite. It's saying symbolizes legions of Satan.
yeah, that's what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say. Like if we're believing that the God of the Old Testament is the beast, right?
Yeah.
And his number for grace is 6666. Well, let's see what else that number means, because numbers mean multiple things.
Right.
Hold on, I think she's back. Maybe. Let me see. Yeah, Erin's here. Let me add her on.
Okay.
Hey, Erin, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
All right, you got lost on here.
I had to turn the computer off. My screen totally froze. I couldn't move anything.
So, if you don't mind, try to do the screen share because it actually worked. If it freezes again and you have to come back on, I won't ask you to do it again. But let's test it. Maybe it's the screen share that messed you up.
Okay, I'll try now. Hang on.
Okay.
Um, it's just going round at the moment, not giving me the. Oh, hang on. Right. Okay. Let's arrow down again. Oh boy. Oh, where did I see that screen share option? Um, hang on. It might be
I
on
think
the
you
other
got to
one.
go
Hang
to
on.
more or something like that.
No, it came up on the where it's got mute, stop cam, and cam slash mic. It also had a screen share option. Right, I'll try it from the other screen. This is from the original one. The original. Let's see if this works.
YouTube is really
Um,
messing with me. It's you, me, and in the groove, and it says I have one person.
maybe it's because of what you're talking about.
Yeah, I really think so.
Right, let's see. I'm pressing share. Come on, move.
Okay, I got a simple question for you. Something I came across recently that seems weird to me. I I used to use that same Bible Hub and Bible Gateway sites too when I want to look up something, right? Well,
Okay.
the last time I looked something up, um, it told me that there are two versions of the King James. There's like a new King James version.
Yeah, there's the King James and then the New King James.
Well, I never remember seeing that option when I used to use those sites before.
Well,
It
I'll
would
tell
al-
you this. I don't
okay,
know when it started, but I have seen it for a while. It's always been there.
okay.
But I always go to the KJV because everybody's like, "Oh, that's the most accurate." Blah blah blah. So
Oh
but
wait, is the NIV the new what they call the new King James?
no, no, no.
Okay.
There's King James and there's the New King James. NIV is different. That's the New International Version.
Yeah, well, I remember when I used those sites. This was probably 2016 and 2017. I used them because I made videos. It would always the two main options were always the King James and the NIV. It would always show those two together. But I
Well,
used it
those are the
recently.
most popular. Like people like like I
Yeah.
said, the King James because they
Okay.
say it's more original. The NIV is
Right.
they make it more simple to read, basically.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. They change. Yeah.
they don't like the NIV because they say it's diluting the word or whatever. But the New King
Right.
James have always been there. It's just never been popular because people always pick either King James or NIV.
Okay. Well, that's what they just changed it then. That makes sense.
King James and NIV is like the Democrats and the Republicans. Everything else is like
Yeah.
third parties.
Right. But the new King James, that was something that because everybody I know, they use the same the authorized or whatever. That's the only one I knew of, the authorized version.
Yeah. No, no, but
So
I can tell you it's been there for a minute. I don't know how many years, but it's been
okay,
a while.
all right.
It's not no
It's just been
Mandela
a while.
effect.
Yeah, yeah. I was just wondering because it threw me off because I knew it was different. I was like, hold up. I'm sitting here trying to look up a verse and now this has changed. So, but that makes sense. Yeah.
All right, Aaron, if you're not able to share the screen, don't worry about it. Just go to the link and we'll read along together.
Okay, hang on, I've got to go on the other. Sorry about that. I don't know why it won't work. Um, okay,
But yeah, when you were gone,
riding the beast.
what I was explaining is the Gnostics believe that Christ comes from the true God and the Old Testament is the evil God. But my revelation, what I'm trying to bring out is that I feel even Christ is a deception because of his connections to reptiles.
Hmm.
Because the God of the Old Testament, according to the Gnostics, is a snake with sorry, a snake with the head of a lion, and Christ also has the snake. So you could still say one is good and one is bad, but they're both reptilian. They're both connected to it. So I don't know how you can really trust that. And like I said in the Old Testament, it talks about the day of the Lord that's going to be so bad, and the wicked will be destroyed. And Jesus says the same thing. When he comes back, he's going to destroy the wicked, and it says that all his clothing that's pure white will be dipped in blood.
Yeah,
So that doesn't sound very true God ish to me.
he had said elsewhere, "I come not to judge the no, I come not to judge the world, but to save the world," didn't he?
That's
But
the thing. He says that while he's alive, but then in the Revelations, he comes as a vengeance to kill the sinners, which is like a complete 160 or 180 or however you want to call it,
do
or
you know what came in
360.
my head? What came in my head today, though, maybe you got worked this out your already, and I don't want to take up your time, but it came in my head was when it said he sits at the right hand of God the Father, and you were talking we were talking about polarities, weren't we? And you said
Yes.
that Jesus being like a reptilian but kind of better than the others, trying to um, pass on information about the father. So if he's on the right hand, is there also someone on the left hand?
Well, maybe the God of the Old Testament is the left and he's the right.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe.
but this is the thing though, like the reason why I'm starting to not trust Jesus is because, like I said, the Enki and Enlil story, if you read it, even though Enki gave humanity the ability to reproduce and all these things, and he saved them from the flood when Enlil wanted to kill them, at the end it still says that they agreed to leave humans alive, but if the population grew too much, that they would depopulate them.
Yeah, and you know the Georgia Guidestones? I didn't realize that that's a modern. I thought that was something like from thousands of years ago. I didn't realize that was a modern thing until the other day.
Yeah,
And the
it's
guy,
like the 80s, right? I think.
I don't know. Yeah, well, no earlier than that
you
anyway.
know, late 70s, early 80s, and the guy whose name is credited as being the, I guess, the developer or the person who uh, gets credit for the project. I think his last name is something like Christian. His last name's Christian, but it
Yeah,
sounds
you
like a
see.
fake name. Yeah,
Oh, so that's been sitting there like all those years and no one's questioned it apart from a very few. I mean, it's just been, it's probably a tourist attraction, isn't it? And people are like, oh, what, look what it says.
yeah. It used
But
to get vandalized, and there's also a spot where there's a like a cornerstone that was there that has since been taken out, and it's not something that vandals could have taken out because it's so high up. So
okay,
it's almost like they came back and took the cornerstone out at a later. That's just what I heard. I don't know. You know,
was that
take a look.
symbolic of something in the Bible?
Well, it
Maybe.
seems like it. The cornerstone that was
Yeah,
rejected by
that's
the
supposed.
builders.
Yeah, the stone that the builders rejected was supposed to be Jesus as the cornerstone.
So when I, what made me okay, let me put it to you this way. I've had a lot of spiritual experiences, but the words of Jesus have always touched me, and I feel it's because there is truth in his words. So I feel like there is truth in it, but it's been mixed with evil, as you can see. Um, but does that mean that Jesus was good and it just got corrupted, or is Jesus just playing the polarity, just like the God of the Old Testament does?
I just think that it's just been so muddied. The waters have been so muddied over time. It's actually,
Yes.
I mean, how are we going to know the truth?
Right.
It's all too
That's where I'm
stirred
at.
up. Yeah.
Well, I
It's
think
like
the point
you
is
trust
with
the
your
soul.
spirit. You just know what's good or when what's not good, what's of
Right.
God and what's not.
Well, I would
Hmm.
say in my spirit, I mean, I totally relate to the teachings of Jesus. Um, so that's what caught me when you said 80% only 80% might not be that pure, yeah, inspiration. Um,
Well, I like I said, that's an estimate. What I meant was
yeah,
very little of it. That was my point. Whether it's 80, 30, 40, I'm not sure, but it's not the majority. Is what I'm trying to say.
no. But I mean, because of, I suppose now, I think a lot of people with everything that's going on are more prone now to really starting searching for the truth to try and help with understanding what's going on. So, yeah, I'm kind of happy to push forward through the barrier and see if there's more to find out. But it's hard because if you're right, it's really difficult to take in, isn't it? If you're right, if what you're reading it as is correct, it's difficult for a lot, and it will be
I know
difficult.
many people are gonna hate this message. They're not gonna want to listen to it, and I understand that. But what if we're wrong and we're trusting and putting our faith in the wrong thing? I think that would be worse than being wrong about this.
I had a question I had in my mind for you, and I don't know if you want to address it another time because of your time, probably time limited. But I was wondering as well about who do we pray to? Do you pray? Is prayer effective, or has that gone out the
I
window?
do pray. To be honest, I I do say Jesus Christ, but I don't pray only in His name. I'm gonna give you my prayer. I don't really share it with people, but
Okay,
I'm gonna do it. So what I do is I say, Holy Father, Holy Mother, and Holy Child, Jesus Christ, and then I say a third word, but that third word is a word that I made up, and I
right.
made it up by getting words that to me describe the true Father. So
Okay,
I got the word called Makor, which is Hebrew for source,
okay,
and then I got the word Ola, which is Greek for everything. So when I say Makor Ola, I'm saying source of everything. So
okay.
I just try to use the description of the true Father to communicate with him. I don't go just by one specific name. I try to
Yeah, I don't like
describe
names.
his personality or his personification and send that energy in that direction.
I
He's
don't
going
even
to be
trust language at this point. Language is hard to write because we know what English is, so it's hard to even use language to try to describe that. I think it's all
In the
about
groove,
intention. If you're
in the
praying,
groove.
yeah,
Give me a second here. So let me finish this because it was Aaron's question real quick.
okay, okay,
So
my bad.
if you do believe the Gnostic story, you will see that they don't give a name for the true God. It says his name is unknowable and he's unnameable.
yeah,
So if you believe in him, like I said, that's why I don't ascribe a specific name to him. I just subscribe things like the mother, the father, and the child, because I believe he's the mother and the father, and he's us, which we are the child. So
yeah,
I believe he's all of us in together. That's why I call it like that. And I say Jesus Christ because certain things that Jesus Christ said I feel come from God, so I say his name. But again, in my opinion, it's all about your intention and who you're trying to reach, and it's not so much about semantics or wording or names. I don't know if that answers your question. So
no, no, but yeah, it does. But 'cause in the name, normally you sort of train to end a prayer like in the name of Jesus Christ, and or he's meant to be there mediating in the prayer, isn't he? he, in a way?
Yeah,
Like the
but
Catholics, it's Mary's mediating,
but notice this though. He also this is where
are we digressing?
I, I will go back to what we were talking about, but I want to say this. So in the Bible, you'll hear that he says you must be baptized in my name, or baptized in his name, or whoever believes in me. But then he also says, I am the truth, I am the way, I am the light. So I believe if you believe in truth and light, then that's enough. Like you don't, the name is not as important as the message.
No, that's right. It's frustrating in a way to not really know the nature of him, isn't it? To not really be sure.
It is.
And
But I
anyway, you
think
carry on.
I think when we pray and we pray for something good and it happens, then you should believe that it went to the higher God. I would that's the best advice I could give. I less for because I understand where you're coming from. You feel
Which, if
confused.
that has happened,
Sorry.
yeah. But then what you just said about if something comes back then from the highest God that you've prayed about, I mean, if that happens for real and it's not a coincidence, how amazing is that? Because of all the millions, you could probably have a million people praying at the same time, and to think that we can be. Oh, I remember now. Of course, he hears us because he's here, isn't he? I
Of
suppose,
course.
or we're in him and he's in us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so let me let me answer Lady E because I don't want to make her feel like I'm not reading her comments. Um,
Sure, sure.
what gives people the authority to keep rewriting the word of God? They have no authority, and I'm sure some are words of God, and I'm sure there's some rewriting going on. Also, I don't know who Mauro Biligno is, so that's new to me. And your third question, if my parents never taught me about Jesus, would I still know and trust them? What if your parents followed Buddhism or Wicca? Well, to answer honestly, I believe how you're raised has a lot to do with it. But just because you're raised a certain way doesn't mean I couldn't have read the Bible and read about Jesus and also believed in him. Like it happens to many people. Many people start with one religion and they convert to another. So would I still believe in him if my parents didn't teach me? I believe so because I believe in the words of Christ because of his words and his message, and not so much because I was trained to do so at an early age. And then she says, Lucifer is also known as the morning star. So I'm actually glad you put that there because, Aaron, when we were reading chapter 21, you saw all the different
Yeah.
stones that were mentioned. Well, there's a verse
Yes.
that says
Yeah.
that talks about the morning star, and he was covered with all these stones. Um, he said every stone was part of his body. So the kingdom is being described almost as how the morning star was described. But again, I like I said, I feel some words are true from the true God, and then the other times I feel like it goes back to the Enki and Enlil story. They have different opinions on what to do with humanity, but they still agree that they shouldn't let humanity get too large. And that's what we're seeing in the Old Testament and the New Testament. And that's what we're seeing with this whole NWO push. In the groove, if you have something to say, I'm sorry I cut you off.
Yep.
I just
No, it's all good. I question everything. You bring up things, and I got a question for almost all of it. It's like, what can we really trust? What came first, the stories, or the stories laying out the script that we're all following, right? Or are they two mutually exclusive events that are one describing the other, right?
Yeah, that's the battle that I'm on,
Right.
and the journey that I'm on, and I'm just telling people about my journey, and some people will be on the same path, some people will be different. I'm just sharing what I know. Nobody has to accept it, but things are not as simple and plain as they tell you in church. Um,
Right.
one more thing in the Osiris, is that Egyptian or Greek? I forgot. I think it's Egyptian, right?
It's Egyptian.
So you know the story that they cut up Osiris into different pieces.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, what did they do with Jesus' clothes? They divided his clothes.
Hmm.
yeah. I've heard of that. What's the word? The word escapes me. That that likeness. I think there's other stories with similarities like that as well. Actually,
And to go further, it says that those who believe in Christ are the body of Christ.
yeah,
And he came to call the lost sheep. So what is he trying to do? He's trying to put the pieces back together.
yes, yeah.
So all these things make you question because they're repeating in different religions, and religions that sometimes are older than the Bible. So can we really trust this story? Yes, Lady E. I'm
So
sorry to think that. It's hard to think that it's all a script, but the more I find, the more it looks like it.
someone sent me a link about 2 weeks ago, which says that I wish I could find it. I'll try and find it for you, all right? Tomorrow or something. That the 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 Bible was actually written. All the books of the Old and New Testament were written by Romans with actual names like Maximus and things like that.
There's so many theories. They even say that that Jesus was the son of Caesar or something like that.
Or they've said that JC is actually Caesar and not Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Um,
Sorry, I confused it.
But then that's just more confusion, isn't it? It's just crazy. I reckon they do it on purpose. They're probably laughing and listening right now.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
definitely.
but
Yeah.
go ahead, Indie Group. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's all it's a quagmire everywhere you go. Everything you look in, anybody who's in a truth topic, right? Anybody who's got a belief, whether it's the Bible or flat Earth or whatever, there's always a what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a paradox, a quagmire. It's like you can't. It just leads you somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's got to
But
be hilarious.
there's a path through it all though. I know that the presenter will agree with me, and it's just to stay and, like you always say at the end, is being love, isn't it?
Exactly.
Right, the middle path.
That's the only true thing.
And it's the only way you can get through it. If you just cling on to that and mean it, you've got to mean it as well. But if you can hold on to that, you've kind of got your little boat to get through it, haven't you? However muddy or whatever it is.
Now that you
Right.
mentioned bold, I'm gonna go a little bit off topic, but you know the word worship, like worship God,
Yeah,
it almost sounds like worship,
it
like a
does,
worship.
doesn't it?
Yep. Huh.
And let me see if I find it, because this is one thing I'm gonna suggest to anybody listening to this. If you want to find the deeper meanings of anything, doesn't have to be just the Bible, of any word, you got to look up the etymology of it, which is the root words,
Mhm.
like the words that were put together to make that word. And I actually looked up the word worship. Let me see if I still have it here. But yeah, so war, like WOR, because you got to break it up in the syllables. Worship has two syllables, war, ship. So you divide it
Right.
there. WOR means our. So our ship.
Right. Yep.
Now ship could also mean something else. I didn't look that
Or
one up. So if anybody and if anybody can look up the etymology of ship.
I'll try now. Um,
I was just thinking about the etymology of the word word because it's WOR.
Yeah, it's very close.
Yeah. It doesn't it, isn't there a quote, I don't know if it's in the Bible or somewhere, but I know I've heard it where it says the word is written in you, meaning us. It's already written in us. Like we don't really need the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
But think about this. Now that you mentioned that, 'cause my brain is blowing up right now. So I'm sorry if I interrupt you guys.
No.
Um, so it says that God will put His laws in your mind. I don't know if you guys read that, but it says when when the end comes and people get saved, that He will put His laws in your mind. He will renew your mind, and like you'll know the laws without needing a book or any of that. Well, think about this though. What if the microchip is to put laws in your mind?
Yeah, it's very worrying indeed, that is.
Yeah.
Maybe it just means brainwashing.
Maybe it's all a trick to get us to that point, right? That's
Yeah,
the whole corruption plan. Get you to trust and believe in something, even metaphorically, and then switch it up just like that, right? And take one Bible verse and they can point it out to it. Say, well, here you
exactly.
go.
That's
It
what I
says it
feel
right
they're
here.
gonna do when they set this whole thing up. They're gonna say, "Oh, it's in your Bible,"
Yeah.
and
That's why I
especially
Oh,
trust.
especially it says the Agenda 21 was done in Rio de Janeiro, where the big statue of Jesus is.
yeah.
Huh.
I
So
I
yeah,
got it.
go ahead.
I got ship. Right, okay. So it talks about where the word comes from and the pronunciation and so on. But then it says meaning and it's got these options. The second one is interesting. So it's got quality, then it's got condition. So, like our condition.
Oh wow.
Mm.
Um, also, it's got position. So it could be our position. Um, it's also got act, power, skill, and office.
On your head, on your knees with your head bowed, almost like the position you would be in if what?
And
It's a
also
similar.
maybe
Yeah,
the
yeah.
vaccine and all these things are to put their qualities inside you.
Well, oh, let me go on my history a minute. I was looking at something that you've probably already heard of this person, you guys, but it was a first for me. Hang on a second. Don't have to. Somebody I looked at just earlier is dead now. Sad. Well, yeah, they killed him, I think. He talked about this stuff as well. Mm, coming. Oh, it's telling me to sign in again now. Oh, how ridiculous.
YouTube is
Anyway,
great.
carry.
It says 0 people are in this live stream.
Uh,
Oh gosh. Maybe it's because of all the technical difficulties it's giving us. Um, right. You carry on talking while I just sign back into my YouTube. Uh,
So yeah, I really think they're trying to discourage me and saying nobody's listening to you. So I'm gonna
maybe
wait
you
till
could do an
you.
ebook.
I'm gonna wait till you find that, and then I want to go back to the 6666
Okay. Right, I'm
symbolism.
nearly there. You could start an ebook, couldn't you, with chapters?
Yeah. Now the bad thing about me is I'm very good. Like, how do I say this? Like, that's why I say I get things from the true God, because they just pop in my head. Like it just goes like, look up this number or look up this word, and then I just do it and it comes out. I'm not good at organizing my thoughts. They just come out spontaneously.
Okay. Now this is the person, Max Spears. Anyone heard of him?
yeah, I saw somebody. He recently died. That's all. I've heard his name before, but I don't know a lot about him.
Well,
I
you
didn't
can
I,
still.
I didn't I didn't hear of him, so go ahead and tell me some.
Well, I only listened to it once, and I normally need to sort of concentrate better to pass much on. But to do with what you said about putting some of them into us. I think he was saying that in the talk I listened to. You can go on his. He's still got a website, but there's sadly, because I think he did loads of stuff. There's sadly only 4 videos on there,
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
but it deals with some of the stuff you're talking about, and more. It kind of goes a bit deeper into some things. I don't mean with regard to Jesus, but he goes in. I actually learned a few things tonight that I didn't know before with him. So,
The
but he
Yes.
sounds like he's on drugs, though.
Huh.
that's no problem.
You, you've,
That sometimes
I
that's how
know.
you're able to break
I
free
think he.
from your conditioning.
No, I don't think he wanted to be. I think it's what you call it, prescription, because he. I think he was a targeted individual. No, he was a targeted individual.
Okay,
Yeah, he
yeah, no,
was.
prescription ain't good.
No, no. Probably would have been better to have the natural stuff, wouldn't it? But
Hey, in the
yeah.
groove. You just
Yeah.
get in there, man. Don't be shy, bro. Don't let us
No,
talk
no, no.
over you.
All right, I will. Yeah, I lost my thought. I was listening to y'all. I think about something else. I'm like, oh, I forget what I was thinking about. It's deep, man. It's a lot of. It's been on my mind lately too. We talked about a lot of stuff over the past few weeks in chats, and you just get to a point. It's like it all comes back to you. That's all you know. That's all you got. Can't trust a book. You can't trust other people. History. It's all questionable. I think so.
What you
So,
said though,
go ahead, go ahead.
sorry. Well, what you said about you can only trust you, I said that very
Mhm.
thing to a friend like about a month ago when we were talking because I think we should use our intuition more than we do actually and go into quiet places so we can be in touch with that because if some of what Jesus said was true, he's kind of pointing to that we have got more about us and we hear that there's so much of our brain that's unused and DNA that they're calling junk. But what if we could somehow activate that
Right.
by concentrating on it?
Yeah,
Manifest.
we
Manifest.
we we definitely
Yeah,
could. And one thing that's interesting is one of my favorite verses in the Bible is when he says, "All that is hidden shall be revealed." So maybe
yeah,
he's pointing out to this. Maybe he knew it was all gonna get corrupted, and he was just letting us know, "Don't worry, this will be revealed through time."
yeah. Maybe we could. One can only hope, really.
Right.
I'm going to forward this. I'm going to put this link on if I can to Max Spears, just so you can get a taste of it,
Okay.
and then later you can look at it or whenever. Let's have a look. Unfortunately, the interview is really annoying and keeps interrupting. Quite a few people noticed that in the comments. Right.
You know, when you go to school, you gotta pay a tuition. That
Yeah.
means you
Right.
gotta get rid of your intuition, pay a
Mm,
tuition so you could get indoctrinated and get your doctorate degree.
right.
And all these people that preach the Bible, they all have to go to school.
Mm,
So how can we trust that they're speaking from the spirit? I think they're just speaking from what they're told to say.
that's the problem with science is if we were to believe that it's a honest endeavor at some point, everybody gets funneled into the
Yeah.
same. Yeah, you have to, or you lose all your investment because you won't work in the industry that you studied for years.
The reason why I'm doing this is everybody's talking about, I'm not saying it's not important, the coronavirus, this and that. But if you look around, your language, technology, math, everything is connected to scripture and gods and religion. And to me, it's not a coincidence that they've made this whole society on the backbone of this knowledge. So when we completely reject all these things because we don't trust it, we're kind of blinding ourselves from what they're telling us in plain sight.
Yes. Oh, it's such a confusion, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, and confusion is a funny word too, because con means with. So when the languages were confused, it means that the languages were fused together.
Hmm.
right? Because you have every word that translates into something else. So why would every alternate language have the same words for, I guess for names they don't, but for the most
Well,
part,
they're not all the same words, but like, for example, an English word could be made up of a Greek word and a Latin word put together.
right.
Or like, so all these words in different languages are actually words of different languages put together, fused together to make a new word.
They're hybrids.
Everything's a hybrid. That's the whole point of the story.
Yeah.
Every That's what
Uh,
this is about. And
right.
thank you for mentioning that. Can one of you please get the etymology for Bible? So it would be by, which is easy. By means two, and then BLE.
By the way, that link, I'll put it on the comments when you've uploaded it, all right?
Um.
The
Oh, okay.
Spears one, because it's just not working because YouTube has signed me out and won't let me sign back in again to chat now. So
So is the BLE and Bible able?
don't get that one. Go to
Okay.
it. BLE comes from a French word. So look at something that
Okay.
says French or something like that.
Okay. I'll look up.
there's probably not actually somebody sitting there pressing switches. It's probably the algorithm, isn't it?
Oh yeah, they don't need people to do that job anymore.
At least with
Yeah.
social distancing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a mask too
Okay.
right now, just in case.
Hmm.
I'm obeying the government, just like Romans 13 says.
Okay. This is it.
I washed my hands as well.
Yes. And did you
Uh,
did you use
I,
hand sanitizer? You have to use hand sanitizer.
no way, that's bad for my skin. I never use it. When they ask me at the shop, I always say I just did it.
That's fake news. You got to listen to Dr. Fauci, okay? He knows what he's talking about.
Oh, that's
Does that
terrible.
something to do with wheat,
Yes,
corn?
sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now let me
Wheat,
tell you why
corn,
it's so
and sweet
important.
potatoes.
Why is it so
Okay.
important? Think about it. I want you to tell me. I'm not gonna say nothing right now. You tell me why that's important.
Uh, you said the BI was two wheat. Only thing I can think of is the wheat from the tares.
Exactly. But you know what a tear is, right?
That's the bad part, right? Or the throwaway.
You should look up what a tear is.
Okay.
While
All
he's
right.
doing that, I can tell you that BLE for wheat is in French. It's blé.
Yep.
Yes. Uh,
And all those years, I never saw that.
well, I know oh, it's a wheat. A wheat. It's like a sack that you would put like I guess wheat or I know potatoes. They measure them in tares. I know that. Let's see. Etymology.
I don't think that's what it is. No, don't look the
Okay.
etymology. Just look up
No.
what tear is. It
Um,
does have to do with the sacrifices too. Now that you mentioned it, but let's not get to that part yet.
in biblical use, that's the one you want. It's, it says an injurious weed resembling wheat when young. Okay, yeah.
So it's a
So it's
wheat.
an
What
imposter. It's
exactly?
yeah.
and it actually kills the wheat if you let it grow long enough.
Okay. Smothers it out, maybe, right?
So two types of wheat: the real wheat and the imposter. That's what the Bible is talking about throughout the whole thing.
Well, that explains the whole genetically modified food industry.
Oh
You look
yeah.
at it. Yeah. No.
Do you feel like do you feel like you're living in a nightmare though when you're actually thinking about it? Is like a total nightmare, isn't it?
Huh.
Yeah, it's a twilight zone.
Hell,
I
maybe.
mean, all the harm they want to do, the chemtrails and vaccines and everything, it is actually evil.
Oh my God, you see, I'm, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I just want you to see how my mind works. I just made a connection that I never made before when you said chemtrail.
Did you?
Yes. In the Bible, there's a man named Shem, which is almost written the same way. Instead of with a C, it's with an S.
Yeah.
I'm almost positive if we look Shem up in the Bible, it might point to some type of connection with the chemtrails.
Or maybe the Hebrew, maybe, yeah, the translation of the name might do perhaps as well. You never know.
If anybody wants to check it, you're more than welcome to. So
Oh,
it's I think it's Shem, Shem. Let's see.
oh, that link I told you about has gone on there now.
All right, I will check it.
Okay.
It's one of the sons of Noah.
Um, so what will we be looking for?
Let's get the etymology of his name of Shem.
Okay.
If you put Shem etymology, I suggest you go to this link called Abrarim Publications. I don't know if you see that.
Yes. Click on that one.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Okay, the meaning of the word Shem, I actually saw this already, means name, but it also means fame and conscious knowledge of the work of the whole of creation. So I don't see something about chemtrails, unless, oh, you know what it could mean? Conscious knowledge of the whole of creation if they're spraying like nanobot type um, particles, smart dust
Yeah. If it
in
is
the
true that
Internet of
they are
Things,
spraying that
5G.
and we're breathing it in, then they have knowledge through that.
There was this guy, he sells books. He's I don't know, Swedish or something like that, and he's called Lars Muell, and he talks about Gnostics. I don't like the guy. I don't think he's genuine, and I think he just wants to sell books. But he talks about the shm. I don't know if that's got anything to do with it. SHM. Do you know about that or not?
No.
No. Okay.
In the groove, if you're
Yeah.
still on that page, go down to where it says etymology of the name Shem, because then they break it down more, and
Okay.
it's gonna
Well,
say more things.
well, right now I'm in the tab below that Shem meaning, and that first little paragraph is kind of interesting. If you want to look at that, are you on it?
Yeah.
Because it says we're pretty sure that Shem wasn't named after blah blah blah, but after the name of the creator, which in
Okay.
turn comes down to the whole of reality.
Go to the one above that. I think it's gonna be
Okay.
more interesting.
Uh, So we're still looking for the root of the name, or
It's the right above where it says Shem meaning. There's one that says etymology of the name Shem.
yeah. There's a lot of stuff here though.
Just
Oh,
read the one I find interesting is basically the first sentence.
okay. Let's see. The noun means name, but the ancients saw one's name as summary of the deeds and traits this person was known for.
And
That
what's the
means
example?
um, he who slew many in the Great War.
So that was the trait of Shem. He's somebody who killed a lot of people in the Great War.
Right.
The Great War could be the day of reckoning, the apocalypse, and you would think chemtrails are going to play a big part of killing a lot of people when that comes. That's the only
Okay.
connection I could see to chemtrails. Maybe instead of spraying whatever they're spraying now, they'll spray poison.
Yeah. But then you'd kind of be looking at if it's chemtrails for chemical, then chem would have to tie in that way, right? And then you're tying that back to alchemical, which gets into a whole other can of worms. But
I
if
mean,
all that derives from Shem, it could be it still applies, I think.
well, think about it. I think you just hit it in the head.
Right.
Chemical, that's what they're spraying, right?
Yeah.
So Shem comes from chemist. So
Yeah.
maybe what that name means. Like he slew many people with chemicals. Anyways, that's just a thought.
Yeah. That's just a thought.
It might be a stretch of the imagination.
All right.
It could be.
Because some of the chemtrails you think you're seeing now on another channel that I'm subscribed to, which is purely scientific, really, they're saying it's electromagnetic stuff that's happening because um, do you know in the groove? Have you heard that there's supposed to be um, heavenly bodies approaching?
Yeah, I've kind of followed that over the years. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
some saying it's planet, it's a whole system, but this guy
Right.
is saying it's suns, and it's just suns that are coming close, and that their proximity is causing these strange skies now because of electromagnetic phenomena.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you because I could plainly see. I seen the plane do the chemtrail like as it's doing it, and I've seen it start and stop whenever it wants.
But is there just one or is there lots? Because he said that in one of his videos. He said, right, he said, there's a trail. He pointed it out. And then he said that the rest of it was electromagnetism. So did you see one or many?
At one time, I saw two planes, and they had the
Mm.
whole sky crisscrossed all over.
Boy,
Yeah, like a grid.
Yeah,
Mm.
maybe it's their version of how you call that? What happens in the fields?
crop circles.
Yeah, maybe it's their form of crop circling the sky. I don't know.
But then why are we still here? They've tried to harm us so much already. There must be something about us. This is why they're trying so hard. Do you think we've got a bit of an indestructible element to all this? They just keep trying different mixes and they're getting really frustrated because it's not working yet.
I think they are trying to cause harm, but I think it's more, at least at this time, I think it's more about changing you, like your body chemistry and stuff, not so much killing you, like dropping dead type of thing.
getting you out of. I think it might have something to do with getting people out of touch with their hearts, which is some people say, or is provable to be an electromagnetic generator itself, just like the Earth.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Right.
Well,
So I think that
now that you say that, it goes back to alchemy. What are you supposed to do with base metals?
like transmute them, right?
Yeah, so maybe they're trying to do the opposite to us. They're trying to bombard us with chemicals, with metals
Yeah, they love
to
mutation.
yeah.
So
I think it's that and terraforming, but that also causes mutation. If your environment changes, your DNA changes.
mhm.
What's terraforming? I don't know what that means.
Um, Terraforming is it could be done with chemtrails and many other ways. It's basically just, for example, changing a desert into a river or changing a
Oh, right.
river into a desert, like just changing the form of the earth. That's what it says. Terra. Terra means earth.
Yeah, yeah. But I'd heard that word so many times and I'd kept forgetting to look it up and see what it means. So basically, they may have caused these deserts to happen. It may not have been climate. It could have
Yeah,
been them
no,
doing stuff.
definitely. But I think the goal of it is if they are shapeshifters, maybe they need to change the environment in order to stay in the shapeshift longer.
Maybe.
Like it's their way of changing it to their environment so they could survive longer.
Well,
Hmm.
ultimately, it would be the digital world, AI, and that whole thing, right? They could totally exist in that kind of world where everything's already synthetic and virtual. That's what they're
Well,
trying to
yeah,
drive us to. Maybe their old technology or time's running out, breaking down, like you say. They got to get us to a point where I don't know. I'm still on the fence with kind of the reptilian, and it makes sense when you get into bloodlines and that whole thing. I'm just
well,
I don't want to
they're
start
everywhere
stacking
though.
conclusions on it.
There has to be something to do with them because they're in every single civilization. They have a reptile as one of the highest beings.
Right?
So,
And they definitely put that out there a lot in TV shows and that whole thing, right?
so think about this. We're supposed to, about the Rh negative and stuff, right?
Right.
Yeah,
So Rh positive is supposed to be a protein that the monkeys have, and if you don't have that, Rh means they don't know why you don't have it. But most humans have the Rh positive, meaning I guess we're linked to monkeys somehow. So maybe it has to do with their obsession between King Kong and Godzilla. You
that's
understand? Like
interesting.
making the
I,
two giants fight each other, the two different types.
I never
Well,
thought of that.
yeah, and to one step further on the RH negative, like if a pregnant mother has an RH negative baby in utero, or vice versa, I believe, uh, her body attacks it as a foreign, doesn't recognize it, so they have to get an injection of this certain medication or chemical or whatever to allow the mother to carry the baby without problems. Otherwise, the body rejects it.
Actually, I think it only happens in the second one, right? Or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. You got to give the I don't know if it's the baby or the mother. You got to give them vitamin K, or they
Right.
get a blue baby or something.
But
Another
there's
thing,
something weird about that, right? If it's going to reject it, kind of
another
ties into
interesting thing about
skepticism.
that I read, it says that if you're Rh negative and you have a baby and the baby is positive, that somehow when you're giving birth and the blood mixes, that the Rh negative person could actually then have positive blood after.
Huh.
Like that the negative turns into a positive. So maybe that's why they don't like to intermix to not dilute their bloodline.
Huh. Interesting.
That's why, especially the Jews, were there were in the Old Testament. God tells them not to mix with the Gentiles. It was a sin to mix with the other races.
Right.
Probably why they do incest.
Huh. It's
All right. Any
fascinating.
other comments on this? So before I head to the 666 thing.
Only,
Um,
only, only on behalf of the Jews that you know, don't you, that what Jesus referred to as, I mean, I'm not Jewish myself, but you know what Jesus referred to as the synagogue of Satan was these people that are probably these people we're talking about now that were pretending to be Jews. Were they Khazars or something? They adopted it, didn't they? And I mean, the original ancient Judaism, I don't think that that was related to these evil people that here now. Jesus specifically says that the synagogue is Satan, is people pretending to be Jews. It's not Jews. A lot of people in mainstream churches confuse that.
Yes. Um. But
right.
then it was a long time ago because he calls them a brood of vipers.
Yeah,
At least the ones he was speaking to, and there's that snake reference again.
yeah. When you think about all his disciples would have been Jews, so he definitely wasn't talking about them, was he? He was talking about somebody different, basically.
Yeah. So there's these two races, and there's also that concept of one is being an imposter to the other. So
Yeah, like a parasite in a way. I suppose they got parasited upon first.
yes. Now that you mentioned that, there's I think I read it somewhere. Don't quote me because I would have to find it. I have like a million links on my phone right now. But supposedly we have 6 trillion germs in our body.
Somebody took the time to count them.
I don't know. That's what scientists say.
Right. Just
Well,
like
I'm
they
just
tell us
saying
how
there's
many
that
billions
number
in
again.
stars.
Go on. So 6 trillion germs. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, that number keeps being repeated, and it's usually connected to sin or fallen nature.
I'll have to look that up because I know 7 is perfection, but I thought 6 was something good as well, actually.
No,
Oh, I
6
don't
is
know.
supposed to mean falling short of perfection.
Oh, but that's going to be one meaning, isn't it? In the Bible, you're talking about specifically in the Bible, though, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
I don't know about in other religions what 6 means, but in the Bible, 6 is the number of fallen mankind or corrupted. So
Mm.
there's definitely some type of corruption going on, and it seems like the people doing the corrupting are blaming us for the corruption.
Yeah,
That's a
they.
great strategy, right?
Say
What
it
did you
again.
say?
If you were the one corrupting it, it would be the best strategy, right?
Yeah.
It's a satanic trick. It's getting everybody to believe in one thing and then use it against them.
Yeah, inverting it.
Yep.
All right, guys, if you don't mind, I'm gonna go to that link with the 6666, the 4 6s,
Okay.
Hmm.
which, as we read earlier, is supposed to mean grace. But now let's see what else it means. So I don't know, Aaron, if you have that link up. I know in the group had it earlier.
Hmm.
Um, which one is it? The one above riding the beast?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Okay. I actually closed it because I thought we weren't using it anymore. Oh no, I've just got
Yeah, I'm
another
not even gonna.
StreamYard thing come up. Oh, hang on, I'll scroll up a bit more.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get through all the links because we keep getting sidetracked with different things. And I'm
Mm.
not saying as a negative. It's good. Like it's
It's
just
so deep.
yeah, one thing leads to another.
Right. I got it now.
All right. So,
So what did you want me to?
all right, just read the first four. Yeah, there's like a little dot
4.
or square next to it.
Okay,
Yeah.
hang on. 4. Are we still on this page? It's got 6666. Are we?
Yes. There's like
Okay.
little bullet points on each thing. So read the first four bullet points.
Huh.
Okay, hang on.
I see a part I like already in this. I'm down on the bottom.
I've got is righteousness by
No,
4.
no. I think you're on the wrong link. It's the Writing the Beast
Oh,
link.
I haven't got that. No. Hang on a
Okay.
sec. Let's go back to this.
It's pretty
Riding
simple.
the
It's
beast.
well, no, it's not. It's just kind of long. I'll put it again if you need me to post it again.
Oh, go on, post it again. That'd be good. Please.
Hmm.
All right, I posted it.
Okay. Right, it's coming up. Right. So the 4th bullet point, is it?
Yes. No. One through four.
One. Okay. Right. Symbolism. Symbolize the legions of Satan, similarly to the number 666, which represents Satan himself. General. According to the occultists, the troops of Satan include 6 legions of 66 cohorts of 666 companies to account for 6,666 demons. According to the Gospel of Barnab, chapter 21, the person possessed, cured by Jesus in Luke 8, verse 26, had in him 6,666 demons. The king Solomon enclosed in a bottle for a period of a day Belial and its legions in brackets 522180 demons, so that's 522,180 demons, and he arrived another time to the grammar's poor here to make enter a ring 6,666 demons that are dead to resist to him. It's not written by an English person, I don't think, this.
In the groove, read the next one, but if you notice, there's two different types of font. Only read the basically the summary. Don't read the whole long letter after that. So basically, where it says Saint Elizabeth, and then and then at the end of that paragraph. You still there in the groove? Uh-oh, I think it got taken out.
Oh boy.
In the groove?
It says one watching.
Yeah, don't even focus on that because it should say two because you're both supposedly here. Either way, just read it until we could get him back in here. They really don't want us talking about this.
Hang on a minute. Get back on the tab. Right. Saint Elizabeth, Queen of Hungary, with Saint Mathilde and Saint Brigitte, wishing to know some more about the Passion of Jesus Christ, offered fervent prayers for this purpose, to the continuation of which our Lord Jesus Christ appeared to them and gave them a message which was put in writing and then kept in a silvered money, I guess that means a purse, by His Holiness and by emperors and Christian empresses. This letter of our Saviour Jesus Christ, in which is mentioned that he received on the whole 6,666 blows on the body, is devoted to the drops of blood that our Lord lost on the path of the Calvary. Here is the integral contents of this letter, mentioning very particular details on the sufferings that he endured.
We don't need to read that because if you want, you could. But the main point was he received that many blows according
Mm.
to this revelation that these people had. So why am I mentioning this? We're gonna go back to. Now the dogs are going crazy. Okay. Um. So in chapter 21 of Revelations, do you remember it said that the walls were 72 yards high?
Yes.
Okay. And a way of getting 72 is 6 times 12,
Yeah.
which 12 is also the important number for, the 12 disciples, the 12 tribes, all that kind of stuff. So to me, it's interesting because 12 again is more numbers of 6. And
Yeah.
another thing interesting, right? And this, what we just read, according to the Gospel of Barnaby, is in chapter 21 also, where he cured somebody with 666. And if you flip 21 around, it's 12.
Yeah.
Now, also, if in chapter 21 of Revelations, we read that it was the New Jerusalem is a square. Well, it's not really a square, it's a cube because obviously it would have a roof, you would think. So there's the cube. And do you know that a cross folded up makes a cube?
I've seen those. Yeah, I didn't really think about it, but yeah, I've seen those things where you've got like a drawing on a page of a cross and you work out that it folds up in like in a puzzle book. Yeah.
Yes. And the cube is related to the planet Saturn, which is supposed to be Satan. And that's where we get the Sabbath or Saturday.
Yeah.
Also, Saturn has a hexagram that even though the planet spins, it stays perfectly still.
Okay. I saw this really good documentary which said that talking about old cave paintings and what they represented, and just to cut a long story short, they said that Saturn was quite likely the dominant planet in the sky thousands of years ago.
Yeah, they actually say that Saturn, well, they say now that Saturn actually has its own light.
Yeah, I think I read that. Yes.
And supposedly the Earth was a moon of Saturn.
Yeah, the Earth wasn't so important. That's right.
So it's called the second sun or the black sun.
So that's the black sun, is it?
Yeah, Saturn is the black sun.
Oh, right, okay. I may have heard that in the documentary, but forgot. What you said about the cube, this guy that I forwarded the link of to you, I've forgotten his name again. He mentions that about a cube. I think he even says that, well, I'm sure this won't be proven, but he suggests that maybe we're a cube and not a globe. He even says that.
Yeah, uh, I guess
Yeah.
it could be that, but what they say is supposedly Saturn in connection with our moon creates our reality.
Okay.
And that's why
I've heard a lot about.
King Solomon, Sol is sun, Mon is short for
Yeah.
moon. But maybe they're not talking about the sun and moon that we see. Maybe they're talking about Saturn and our moon.
Yeah, maybe. But then what we're going to do with the information, it's not going to solve our dilemma, is it?
Hmm, right.
Oh, hey, you're back.
Yeah, I had to take the dogs out. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Um,
I was listening from afar. Yeah.
so before we move on, so notice, obviously, people, they are different. There is not like this is the only shape, but it is the standard from what I understand. When you get a ring, you put it in a cube box, and it's usually a black box where the ring is put. So you have the cube, and then you have the ring, which
Sometimes
also
dark blue.
represents Saturn. No, like I said, yeah, they make them blue, white, whatever, but usually, like the most common is a black cube box. So maybe it's symbolizing that Saturn controls you. Because where does the ring go? Doesn't it go on the right hand?
Left.
That's the
Oh,
wedding ring. Yeah.
oh, on the left.
Graduation ring is on the ring finger on the right hand.
Hmm. Well, left is usually what
And
they call the dark path.
right, and when you graduate, the graduation cap. It's a little square black key. It's supposed to be the cube of Saturn too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that little string thing that comes out from
Tassel. Yeah.
that's a Jewish thing, right?
Is it? Huh.
They put tassels or something about in the Bible says about putting a tassel on their hair or something like that.
Hmm. Well, when you graduate, you flip it. Before you graduate, it's on one side, and then after you get your diploma and the thing's over or whatever, you flip it to the other side. That's the ritual for that.
Hmm.
Hmm. And then
So,
you throw your hat in the air.
oh
But
yeah,
when you said about the left side being the like left is sinister, isn't it? And the ring. Well, when you think about it, marriage, um, going over the centuries, and even now, to be honest, it's not really. Well, it is for some people, for a minority of people in modern times, but it's not a beautiful thing, is it?
well, they sell it to you as it is.
Of course they do, but the thing is that a ring to, like in Tolkien, a ring to bind them. The ring for the woman was to bind her, wasn't it, to the man because, um, like it stopped him committing adultery and um, it for the man it looked good, didn't he? Because he could even have more than one wife in certain places. All right, different cultures. I don't know whether that ever happened in the Hebrew religion, but the wedding was in. I'm not being feminist here or anything, but the wedding was in the guy's interest, and the woman was basically she was treated like a prostitute, I suppose.
Yeah,
It wasn't romantic like in the movies.
and you
Right.
you buy your wife back in the day.
Yeah, and I mean it would be made by
Mhm.
arrangement, and still in some countries now it's arrangement with the parents as well,
Yeah, that's
and
what I
there's
was
all
gonna
this,
say.
yeah, the
It's all for the.
dowry.
It's all about what's good for the family bloodline. Like the giving away the daughter to the king would benefit the family. It would raise the status of the peasant family, right? That would be
Yeah,
incentive for them. Yep, I can see that.
And there goes, you sold your daughters. It sounds like soul.
Right.
Like,
yeah,
Mhm.
and also if you take out the D, it's SOL, which means son.
Right.
So maybe selling the daughter, it's like selling, because usually the female represents the and Gnosticism and stuff like that. It represents material or your body. So you're selling your body in a way.
Well, I don't agree with those Gnostics because the female, the feminine, in other words, is necessary as um part of creation. I mean, they called it Shekinah, didn't they, in the Kabbalah?
Well, there's the thing. There were Gnostics that hated all material, and then there's the Valentinians, which saw the both parts. The reason the female is the material is because the material world receives the spirit or the light
Oh,
into it.
that bit's I understand. That's right. I understand. So when you get those, yeah, you get that long symbolic item, and then that goes into the receiving item.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah. That's like a ring on a finger, isn't it, as well?
yeah.
Yeah.
And the witches they do it the same way. They use a dagger and a chalice, and
Yeah.
you put the sword or the chalice. I mean, sorry, you put the sword inside the chalice.
Yeah. Yeah. And on some ancient churches in the UK, because you don't have your ancient churches in America, I'm sorry to say,
Mm,
not as ancient, but
right.
there's some above the doors. I've seen pictures. I haven't seen them in real life of the receiving part is actually shown above a church door in all its glory.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, because the feet and notice we the humans our physical selves are considered the wife of Christ. We are the
Yes.
church, so that's we receive Christ, that's why we're female.
Yeah.
So don't take it as like literal sex, it's just the aspect of the female receiving the life. That's why the material world is considered female.
No, but it's interesting because people go through the doors, don't they? They don't really see this. But in the
Mhm.
like in the more ancient churches, maybe people didn't weren't so squeamish about that kind of thing. I suppose a lot of what they thought is hidden from us now and not recorded, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
Well,
I'm
and there's
sure.
supposed to be the there's a famous image of I think the Virgin Mary where if you look at the outline of the picture with her standing there, it almost looks like the the vagina also.
Yeah, I read that just the other day
Yeah.
somewhere. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
You want to know something else? So I mentioned earlier that there's this theory that on Earth the humans were only female and these reptilians were males, and the
Hmm.
females were giving birth on their own just like the reptile. But when they give birth on their own, right, the it's basically a clone of herself because there's no male DNA, it's only her DNA. So think about this. You know how they say God is both male and female,
yeah,
and they have the Baphomet, which is male and female and all these things.
yeah,
Well, if Christ was born without a father, that means that his DNA was XX instead of XY.
yes,
So he was a male but born female, technically. The
yeah,
DNA wise.
Well, they say all males in the I guess in the embryo stage, uh, all males start off as females.
they
The
do.
female,
They do.
yeah, females stay females, and then the male it makes a switch there at some point.
Yeah.
So that goes along with what you're saying, yeah.
And it's amazing at that point as well in development how much the little tiny, well, the small fetuses or the embryos resemble other creatures, the ones of
Right.
other creatures as well.
Uh-huh.
Apparently, the dolphin one is very similar to us.
Right.
And the sperm is like a tadpole. Tadpole, sorry.
Mhm.
Hmm.
One more thing about the whole Mary and Jesus thing. If you notice, you know the picture of Jesus that he's wearing that red with the blue over it, and then the heart with the on
Fingers
fire.
up. Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
think so. Yeah.
you know there's a picture of Mary just like that.
Huh.
They almost look like twins.
Ah,
So maybe
What
they
was it
interesting.
did it
about?
for a reason. Maybe Jesus was like a clone of Mary since she gave birth on her own.
What did you say about the heart? What does the heart look like?
You know that famous picture that it has the heart and it has fire on it, and then it also has the barbed wire around the heart.
Oh, yeah, I know the one. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a picture of him like that, and then there's also a picture of Mary dressed exactly the same with the same heart
Why
and
is
everything.
there barbed wire around the heart?
Well, it's thorns, right? Isn't it? I thought it was thorns.
Yeah, it's
All right.
supposed to be the crown of thorns, but
Yeah.
Oh,
they
okay.
interchange it with barbed wire and thorns,
Oh,
and
okay.
it's like looks the same. Because if you notice that in the movie, sometimes you'll see the thorns, and sometimes it looks like barbed wire what they put on him.
Hmm.
Also, one interesting thing that goes back to Jesus and the snake, Calvary. You know what Calvary actually means?
Oh, I did, but go on, tell me again.
The place of the skull.
That's right, Golgotha. Yeah.
What did God say to the serpent after Adam and
That
Eve ate from the tree?
she will crush your head, or he
Yes.
will crush your head.
Her seed will crush your head and you shall bruise his heel.
Hmm.
So, and what did the serpent said, if you eat of this, your eyes will be opened and you'll be like God, knowing good and evil. What does Christ say? If you believe in me, I am the truth. Whatever you ask of me, I will tell you, and you will live forever. It's kind of the same promise.
Yeah, yeah. But I was thinking again today, living forever,
Yeah.
that kind of transhumanism thought came into mind because that would be the way of living forever, wouldn't it? If you couldn't really die if you were AI, I suppose.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're working hard on that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think their ultimate
Living
goal is
longer.
the consciousness transfer,
Right.
to transfer your consciousness into a robot, like all together. Like you won't even have, like they're gonna start little by little with an arm, a heart, whatever, but eventually you're just gonna be your consciousness inside of a robot. And I think they're gonna do
Well,
that
yeah.
because they know once we start mixing with technology that it's gonna slowly kill our body. So they're gonna have to replace it altogether.
Yeah, the AI gets all of our conscious, whether it's just by measuring our behaviors and thoughts kind of externally, or us being all immersed into AI world, right? Then our bodies would break down to a point where they'd want to load it back into a robot body. I could see that.
Well, you have your own magnetic field, and you're putting devices that have a different field. So I'm guessing one is gonna overpower the other,
Right.
and then maybe that's why they need to transfer your
To
consciousness, because that's all that's gonna be left of you.
and on that same comment, that could also be why they're running uh, mind war psyops on us to lower our vibrations and lower our field to maybe make us more susceptible to. Maybe that's why it's not working on as many people as they had hoped. Maybe we're a little more protected, right?
Yeah,
So, yep.
I think probably that energy that they feed from us comes from consciousness. So they're thinking, let's lower their consciousness and then trap it into a robot, and like that, like they could keep feeding off that energy and make like a better prison than the one we have now.
Yeah. Once anybody crosses that line, I mean, you're open to I mean anything. You think it's all going to be good, you know? That's
I'd rather die before that. So
right.
Yeah, but suicide is you have to come back into the matrix then, don't you? Because you can't escape that way.
I think that's a lie.
Do
I
you?
think they make you scared of suicide on purpose so you don't do it, and they could keep feeding off you. I feel like if you are a part of God, right, and you're given
Yeah.
free will, then if God gave you free will, then why can't you have your own free will over your own body and decide when you want to live and when you want to die?
Yeah, I mean, I go along with that, but it's worrying to think that you try to escape, it's just like a revolving door.
Right. That's the trap right there.
Hmm.
Well,
Having to come back.
according to what I've learned, what keeps you trapped here is you thinking that you are not free. If you could die believing that you are free, there's nothing to hold you back. Because what they
No,
do
when I
is when you die, they'll be like, "Oh, but you did this and you did that, and you need to fix that." And then if they convince you, then you could come back. But if you say, "No, I don't need to fix anything, because I am forgiven, and I am not, I am blameless, because you created this world and you've done all this to me," then they can't hold you because the Bible says knowledge is what makes his people perish. Like, sorry, lack of knowledge. So if you don't know that you're free and God created you to be free and they can manipulate you to coming back, then you come back.
Well, that Greek lady I told you about, she said that when we get then, that they'll be there. They'll be the ones judging, and that you're supposed to claim the redemption that Jesus paid to get out of there.
Well, I think that's a lie because you don't need Jesus to pay anything for you. The thing is that you are free and sovereign, period.
Yes, yes, I'm saying that's what she said anyway.
I think that's a trap of the archons.
But there's got to be some way of, the what you just said now. If we're going to communicate with them at all, yeah, to declare your freedom is probably the best way.
That's what I'm saying because you're saying I'm free because this person died for me. So you're putting a condition on your freedom.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Why is so annoying when you find these holes in what people say, isn't it?
You just got to think. You got to think because what's if the true God, if you are a part of the true God, then is God gonna imprison himself?
Of course not.
Exactly. So you just got to step outside the box, outside the cube that they put you in, your cubicle. Stay in your cubicle in front of your computer. Be programmed like a computer.
Playing on words, though, there's one thing I wanted to ask you earlier, if you don't mind. It's nothing much. Um, Talking about language, and you said when I was last speaking to you about how misleading language is, and English is very misleading, isn't it? And causes division.
Yep.
But that word, you were talking about curses and the number of curses in the Bible, and we have our writing system is called cursive, isn't it? That's telling.
Yeah, just like spelling, you're doing a spell.
Yeah, doing a spell. That's right.
Just like the
Do you know, I didn't.
coronavirus. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. Carry on. It's only trivial.
Well, I was gonna say just the coronavirus has all this thing about six, right? 6 feet apart, and um,
Yeah,
the six means hex. So a hex, like in witchcraft, is if you put a curse on somebody, you hex them, right?
yeah,
So
Oh yeah, they're trying to separate you when the reality is that we're all connected. So they're doing the
yeah.
opposite to you. They're trying to separate you with the
And
six.
you know what they told the British police just yesterday, that they haven't got to worry with their apps for track and trace. They don't have to worry if they get a notification that they need to self isolate. They can ignore everything on their about. Basically, they've told the police and they've put it on the radio. The police don't have to abide by these track and trace apps because, of course,
Yeah,
they're needed. Now,
of course, because it's not
corona,
real.
no,
all right.
no, coronavirus doesn't like the going to the police. It only comes into houses where families are living together.
Exactly, the
Yeah,
police are
it's
immune.
dangerous for us to be out, right, carrying it around, but for them, it's okay to spread it around, even though that's what this whole thing is about, apparently, spreading the
Yeah,
disease.
yeah, but of course it doesn't exist, like you said.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, the public should understand if the police don't have to worry, and they're just as likely as the rest of us to catch it if it existed. Why are they exempt? The public need to start joining the dots more.
Hmm.
is that we've been dumbed down for so long. Like us that could actually have critical thinking, we're a real minority.
Yeah, it's getting smaller and smaller. It's terrible because of the school
It's
system,
weird.
because of core curriculum. Terrible.
So let
Well, not
me
just that, of course. I mean, that's one thing.
think about this. A virus feeds off you, right? It feeds off your body. That's
I
what the
don't
virus
know.
does. Well, yeah, it infects your
But
cells.
attacks you when you're weak, allegedly, yeah. Right? When your immune system.
But they're
Yeah.
saying, but they're obviously I can't go into this for too long now. But they're saying a virus doesn't really exist. That it's our chromosome 9 or something.
Germ
This that they're looking
germ
for.
theory. Yeah. That's true. I mean, I'm open to all of that,
Well, I'm
right?
not saying it does exist or not, but I'm saying like it's supposed to do that. That's the what it symbolizes. It's like a vampire. It lives off you, and it's the crown virus. So it's the crown vampire or the crown leech or the crown um
Bug. Yeah.
parasite.
No,
And think about it. Who's the crown? The leaders, right? The leaders of the world are the crown. They're the royalty. They're the bloodline.
or your crown
Yeah,
chakra, your
Yeah.
highest.
They're trying
Yeah.
to remove your crown
Right.
and put theirs on you. Whether the virus be real or not, that's the hidden meaning of it. And let me say this. Did you guys see the video of that woman that the police came to her house because she was organizing a protest against
Yeah,
COVID or
yeah.
something like that?
Just pregnant?
yeah. Was that real?
I don't think so.
But that's whether it's real or not, it's not important. What's important is this. You guys didn't pay attention to her name, huh?
What was
Huh?
her name?
Yeah.
Her name was Zoe, like Zoe, and then Lee, Zoe Lee. Go ahead and one of you put what's the meaning of Zoe?
Zoe is a Greek word for life, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Do you know that part in the Bible where there's two women, right? There's the whore on top of the dragon, and there's the other woman that has the sun above her head and the moon below her below her feet,
Yeah,
and she's pregnant, and the dragon is chasing after her
yeah.
to devour the child. Remember before it's born.
Yeah.
So my point is this: they're telling you the same thing. The dragon is the government. It came after the pregnant woman, which she symbolizes life.
Oh my
So the
gosh.
yeah,
Ah,
exactly. They're
well, well.
trying to get you before that new life is born inside of you, and that's why they're doing all this because they know something's happening. There's a change happening in some of us, and they're trying
I've
to
been
eat
having
that
this.
baby.
Yeah, I've been having this theory too that the kids being born now are being born uh a lot more intelligent or a lot more awake, I guess. Or I think that's kind of what they're. I think that's why they are okay with abortion and using, keeping that whole industry going. I think they promote that. I don't know.
Well, it's kind of like what happened to Jesus, right? When he was born, they were killing every baby to try to kill him. Remember?
Yeah, yeah,
So they're trying to kill this thing that's being born inside of us, that's represented by as Christ, which is life and truth. So they're trying to kill the truth that's starting to come out of us by trying to kill us before we're born, which goes back to Saturn. If you know the story of Saturn, actually, the father of Saturn is Jupiter. No, sorry, not Jupiter. Uh, Caldeus, or I can't say his name.
Kronos, maybe. Is that what you're
No,
saying?
Chronos.
Chronos.
Chronos is
Yeah,
actually Saturn too.
Yeah, yeah. Time.
But there's this god that gave birth to Saturn, right? And Saturn takes over because supposedly the first god was very strict and mean and whatever. So he takes over. And then he was good and he brings about the golden age. But then he becomes crazy just like his father, and he starts to eat his own children.
that's
Right.
right.
So to me, how I interpret it is the old God is the God of the Old Testament. Then Christ, whether he's the serpent or not, takes over from the old God, and he brings about peace and the golden age. But then he also goes back to how his father was and starts killing his own people. And maybe that's why Jesus, at first, he's like love and all this and that, and then he comes in the second coming and wants to kill a bunch of people.
But you're
Hmm.
saying his own, so you mean the ones they're after the ones that have faith then in that idea?
Well, he it says that Saturn was scared that his children were going to replace him, just like how he did to his father.
Right.
So my point is this: in the Old Testament, supposedly Jesus Christ inherits everything from the Father. That like the Father gives it to him. But let's say it wasn't inherited. Let's say he took it by force, and he does bring about good things. But then he goes crazy, just like his father, because they share the same DNA.
But the children that turned against him in current times are the New World Order because shut the they don't want people to have the faith, do they? So it would be them that would be got rid of.
Yes, but does that sound like a loving, unconditional God? Either way,
No, but that would be what they'd call justice, wouldn't it?
yeah. Which is funny. If you say justice slowly, it sounds like it just is. My justice just is. It's because it is. It's whatever I say it is. I'm just saying, like, I'm just trying to match up the stories of different religions to the Bible because I feel like they're the same story. They just change a few details. It's always like about a power struggle, and then some are children of one God, and some are children of the other God.
Yeah.
But if you go to, I think it's Greek or Roman, have you heard of the god named Janus?
Yeah, it faces both ways.
Yes,
January's named after that.
yes. But he's the same god. He's a two-faced. Yes, it's not. It's the same God, and one side is good and one side is evil, and He's the
Hmm.
God of doorways. And Jesus says, "If you knock at the door, it shall be answered."
Hmm. My brain is so conditioned that I can't possibly think of Jesus as evil
I
at
know,
all.
and I don't want to, trust me, because I've been. Jesus has been the thing that's kept me alive for so long, but like this 2020 has made me see things differently than before.
The thing is, it may be possibly too early to draw any conclusions because their time runs differently to ours, doesn't it? I mean, God's time runs differently. I should say the Father. I keep saying God, but we should say the Father, shouldn't we? And we don't know yet what the outcome's going to be. Is it really written in stone? We don't know, do we?
I don't think it's written in stone, but There's a lot of people awake, don't get me wrong, but there's more people that are asleep, and I really don't see them failing at whatever they're trying to do.
No, I don't really. If I'm honest with myself, I don't. But like the Gnostics believe, because my friend he left me a message today saying about how even if just one person is kind of holding on to that high vibration of love in their heart, that it can change the oh it could change everything basically.
I resonate with that idea a little bit.
Do you?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I think that's because they push the idea of vaccines and control. It's about control. It's about money. It's well, they have enough people willing to buy into all that. I mean, why fret over the last 2 or 3% of the people that's not going to do it? But they really, it's like they want to make sure they get everybody included. Like they are really demanding worldwide, everybody wear a mask. It's like an all in type of thing. I think as long as people are holding out hope or rebelling against that uh their plan doesn't work out. That's wishful thinking, but yeah.
No, I don't think it is. Just talking about that mask though, because we didn't have them mandatory in shops till about 2 weeks ago, and to
Huh,
see the people there that weren't previously, I actually feel nauseous when I see that. It looks
right.
so horribly futuristic and evil. It really is too close now. Terrible. But yeah, I think if we do keep resisting, that it can't. And do you think, has it occurred to you that the vaccine thing might be a psyop, though?
I I don't think so. I think it really has to do with it. I don't think they would put so much effort on it for no reason. But let me tell you this though. If we're gonna believe that they have all this crazy advanced technology, things that make earthquakes, chemtrails, laser beams, the the do direct energy weapons, nuclear bombs, all these things. You don't think after all this effort that they've been doing throughout the years, if we did start fighting back, they wouldn't just start causing mayhem around the world and that would cause everybody to stop?
Well, yeah, I mean, they have got so much that they can do against people that.
Right. But they want you to feel defeated, right? And once you feel defeated, you're gonna give up. You're gonna lose your faith. You're gonna give in. It's like being tortured.
But what if it's the opposite? I heard they actually want us to fight back.
But there's a channel called. Do either of you know the channel Earth United? Oh no, no, not him. No, James True. Do either of you know James True?
No, I haven't
No.
heard that.
No. Okay. Well, he does a lot of videos. I don't watch them. I started watching them at the start of the so-called pandemic, but I didn't continue because it didn't really resonate. But he, what was it he was saying? That if they wanted to finish us off, they could have done so easily before. Like, why drag it out
Right.
like this?
Hmm.
Well, the thing is, um,
It's a lot of
it,
trouble to go to. He was saying.
it's not about killing us all. It's about killing the unwanted ones.
Mm.
And they needed all these things to be put in place. So when they do start doing that to the majority of people, it's not going to be obvious that they're doing it. They're just going to think it's naturally occurring chaos.
Mm.
And give me a second so I could address Legends here. He's a Muslim apparently.
Okay.
So Legends, I don't want to be rude. I think you're here because you see Bible deception, and I know you guys believe the Bible has been corrupted and that the Quran isn't. Um, in my opinion, they're all corrupted. So if you're here just because you think we're only against the Bible, I'm gonna have to disappoint you because I believe all religions are in this together. And the word religion itself means to rebind you. So I don't believe any one religion is speaking the whole truth. So I would have to disagree on your Jesus isn't God, he's just a prophet, and that he did miracles and all these things. I understand that's your view. I don't mean to offend you, but I'm just letting you know in case you're here by mistake. I'm not only going to speak about the Bible, I am speaking about the Bible because it's what I'm most knowledgeable in. But if I knew a little bit more of the Quran, I would expose it as well. The only thing I know about the Quran that's bad is just like the Bible, there's a lot of killing. If you don't believe in me, they must be beheaded and all these things. And I don't believe that's of God. So I have to disagree. Um, and also, you guys worship the cube also. So sorry, it's the same thing. Sorry, I'm done with that.
What made me think of, you heard the thing about the president, the vice president candidate Harris. Her name sounds, it's Allah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's very true. Supposedly the Democrats are, they're pushing forward the agenda of bringing like Sharia law and stuff like that to America.
Hmm.
It would make
Yeah.
sense.
I've heard that. Yeah, that's scary.
Legends, I respect you for respecting me and respecting what I said. I'm sorry if I don't know too much. From what I've read, they do command killing. You say it doesn't, and I'm open to check it out for myself, and then I'll get back to you on that. But I understand they do try to make Muslims all bad, but at the same time, from everything I've seen, for example, um, terrorists usually say that God is telling them to do it. I don't think they're gonna make it up out of nowhere if it isn't at least indirectly said in the Quran. And number two, I've seen a lot of movies from Turkey and Muslim countries made there with actors from those countries, and they actually are very abusive to their women, even in their TV shows. And I don't think that's of God. So, and they love they when they get into an argument, they're like, "I'll kill you, I swear." You know, they're and you could
Well,
say,
and
"Oh,
Freemasonry is entangled in all that also. That's what
well,
was
all
the,
three are." When you're a
right,
Mason,
exactly.
you either use the Bible or you use the Quran or you use the Torah. Either way, they let you pick, but they have all three books in the Freemason Lodge.
Well, isn't it also like the Shriners caps, which are red? Those are the Fez caps that were they're red because they were supposed to be soaked in the blood of slain Christians or something. Isn't that the story? You familiar with
Yes.
that?
Same. I think the
Yeah.
same caps were in the French Revolution as well. I think.
Hmm.
And supposedly in the Talmud, they're saying that Jesus is boiling in an excrement in hell.
Huh.
Legends just said about ISIS having nothing to do with Islam. I know that legends. I think that Hillary and oh Obama had something to do with that, didn't they?
Repeat that.
Um, Legends said that ISIS has got nothing to do with Islam. You know the ISIS, the known as an Islamic terrorist organization, but that was fabricated in the American
Right.
government, from what I've read.
CIA. Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
think. CIA
yeah.
operations. Yeah.
Yeah, but then you would have to include Iran, where they're supposedly an Islamic country, and till just recently they still stoned a woman to death. Um, and obviously they get that from the Torah because that's what the Old Testament says. If your wife is unfaithful, you must stone her. If your son disobeys or disrespects you, you must stone them in front of the community. So
And if I was in Saudi Arabia, I wouldn't have a voice. I probably wouldn't be allowed to join in.
no, you would be told to shut up.
Yeah.
So
Mind you,
he's saying that all this is a lie, that that's not true Islam. I don't know. That's what I've heard, but I promise you this. I'll if you send me a link with a good source to read the Quran, I'll read it for myself, and then I'll get back to you.
I've I've been wanting to read it. It's just finding the time because I have heard that there's a lot of good to be done by reading the Quran actually.
No, I'm sure there's good things, just like there's good things in the New Testament, there's good things in the Old Testament. But my point is, I'm pretty sure the Quran is not the definition of love, of unconditional love, and no arrogancy, no boastfulness. I'm pretty sure there's some of that in there, and I don't have to read it to know that. But I'll do it. I'll do it just for the sake of being fair. I'll read it for myself, and I'll
The
let you
thing
know.
is though, you got to remember guys as well as in the mosques even in London there's a lot of hate preaching going on. So those people preaching hate, they're not of they're from the other side if they're preaching hate basically, aren't they?
Yeah, but are
Mhm.
they reading it in the Quran? Because you could make up something, but if it's written, it's written, and that's what I want to know. What's actually written?
Yeah, I mean
Maybe they're
it has to have something in there about striking your enemies. I mean, so you could take that one verse out, and if you're preaching off that hate, right? I mean, the same as what you could do with the Bible. So if they use against gays or whatever, that they take the one bad verse out and make it the example for the whole thing,
Yeah, or they could spin it, of course. They could just spin what's
right?
being said because the younger people in the mosque aren't going to know any different, are they? Whether
Hmm.
it's just like we don't know in school. Well, I didn't know that I was being lied to about history in many
Right.
instances. So they keep people in ignorance, don't they?
Well, this is the thing. They play all these games like, oh, Muslims are bad, or this is bad, or Christians killed a bunch of people in the Inquisition, in the Crusades, and etc. etc. But so they always demonize a side. I don't know about in England, but at least in America, if you were to go to Congress and stuff like that, they will actually have the symbols of all three faiths in there. There's sections where they have the Muslim crescent moon with the star, then they have the Star of David and whatever. So yeah, there's an agenda, but at the end of the day, they still incorporated all three into their system, and there must be a reason why.
Yeah, look, Legends is saying heaven is under the foot of the mother. That's interesting.
Well, that actually looks like the picture of what I just said about the woman about to give birth. Except, I think in that image, Earth is underneath her feet, not the heavens. Not sure.
Hmm.
But yeah, like I said, legends. I respect you, and I thank you for respecting me and not attacking me if I disagreed or said things out of ignorance about your religion. I will read it, and I will make a stream about it. I will find verses, and I'll read it for myself. But I would appreciate it, since I want to be fair, for you to send me what you think is a reputable source for me to read it from.
At least they acknowledge Jesus as a prophet, whereas the Jews they don't acknowledge him, do they at all? I suppose.
Yeah. There's actually a theory that Gnostic mystics created Islam. So,
I've
um,
heard that somewhere too.
But one last thing, legends. You say the best way is to learn to go into a mosque and ask the imam and which are the teachers. Well, I'll tell you this. I don't want to learn from no man. Give me your book, give me your link, and I will read it. Because that's what I do with the Bible. I do with anything. I don't listen to any man. I listen and read the words and come to my own conclusion. I don't need doctrine or propaganda from a man telling me what something is supposed to mean.
Dogma, yeah,
And it's funny, they call it dogma, which dog backwards means God.
right. Goddamn, telling you what it goddamn.
Sorry?
Well, the dogma, am. So you have God am God.
Oh yeah, I
That's
didn't
a
even think about that.
dogma.
Nice
Yeah.
catch, man.
Uh,
Nice catch.
and then you can flip it goddamn too if you say it together. Goddamn, goddamn.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's why they say dog is man's best friend. So God is man's best friend, technically.
And here where I live, if you said the GD, the goddamn word, people would get extra offended at that one. That one was like worse than saying the other the curse words. They always freak out extra, and it seems odd.
You know what I find funny?
Goddamn,
I find funny that they say don't use God's name in vain. Vain
right?
means empty, right? Like don't use it for nothing. Um,
Hmm.
but usually you say goddamn when something pissed you off. So
Right.
why is that vain? Why is that empty? You know?
Inversion. Yep. Maddening.
Um another thing that's interesting. You guys heard that cross your T's and dot your I's?
Right.
When you cross a T, it makes the cross. And if you put a
Mm.
dot on the I, it's like putting the head to a stick figure. So it's like before you put the dot, it's like a headless person. And then when you put the dot, it has a head.
Look, Legends can't post you a link. It's forbidden, but you can ask the imams for a recommended copy of the what they recommend with regards to the Quran.
You see, I'm sorry, and I really mean it, legends. I really mean this. But first, you telling me I have to learn from a teacher, from a man, and then you're telling me it's forbidden for you to send me a link to the Quran because it might be corrupted or whatever. It just sounds
Well,
like a lot of excuses and a lot of hiding going on.
he's bringing up a point, right? What he's saying is that the problem is the translation. So you have to go to an imam for translating. Well, that plays right back to what we were talking a second ago about ISIS, whether there were mosques that were preaching. It's all up to each imam to translate it his way.
Oh,
And it's like,
sorry, not the no, I got it wrong. It's not the link; it's the wife beating that's illegal. Sorry to interrupt you there.
oh, okay. Um, that's the same as with the Bible, right? If you really want to know what the Bible or the original word, you'd have to go and you have to translate the Hebrew for yourself, right? So most people just rely on King James or the preacher to tell them what is translated. So
Oh
where is
no,
it?
sorry. He's saying that the wife beating is forbidden, not the link.
Yeah, not the link. Sorry, it was my fault.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. You can't
Oh, it was
post
my fault.
links.
I read it wrong. That's why I said that. Well, if you have a link, I would really appreciate that because it's just my nature to.
Or if you could put the link and then put like parentheses around the dot where it goes to .com. If you just break it up along there, you can see what the link is, and then just copy and
And
paste it from there.
with the wife beating as well, guys, it's probably not religion but culture because, like in Southern Europe, you're more likely to get guys in Southern Europe beating their wives, I think,
Mm.
than or girlfriends than they do in Northern Europe. I think the further south you go, you're more likely to find that behavior for some reason. So it's more culture than religion.
Well, it's
You'll
kind
get
of the
them.
same here, also.
But
or
you
it's
Is
could
it?
always
you
been
could
known
you
that
could
way.
say that religions are made by cultures.
But are they, or are they manufactured? This is what the impression I'm getting now is that all of them have been manufactured. It's the opium of the masses. Who said that?
Right. Yeah.
Karl Marx, isn't it?
Yeah.
But he didn't say it as an observation. I think he said it as a recommendation that it works if you want to subdue people. Use religion.
Yeah, of course. I just said it. Like if you get the etymology of religion, it means to bind or to
You did.
rebind.
You did. That's right. You scare them that they're going to hell for a start, which before education, millions of people must have believed that.
So legends, like I said, you could the link won't work here, but after the stream is done, you could leave the link in the comment section. I think it will work that way. Instead of in the live chat. And like I said, I'm really sorry if I offend you, but I need to read it for myself. There's a reason why I don't go to church because I don't need nobody telling me what something means. I like to do my own research. I like to be, how the Bible says, a good, what's that name? Bearian? What's that? How do you say that word? Those people that search the scriptures. A bit.
Oh, I don't know.
Let me see.
Not throwing them.
Good be Berean or something like that.
A Berian. I've seen that
No.
word Berian, Berean. Is that
Yes.
it? Oh, that's what it means. Oh, I used to get things in my inbox from an organization called the Berians, actually.
Yeah. So this comes about because the Jews were neglecting Paul because they were saying that Paul was going against the laws, and then some Jews that were called the Bereans came and listened to his sermon, and then they looked at the scriptures for themselves, and they're like, okay, yeah, you're not saying anything wrong. So basically, Berean just means somebody who searches the scriptures to test what somebody says. So
Right, okay.
my point is, I try to be that. Like I don't try to take what somebody says something means. I try to read it for myself. So
Okay. There you are. Look, the first things imams say are read the Quran. They just answer your questions, so it's not like the teachings of pastors or priests.
okay, that's good. I will give it a shot. I have no problem with it. I might, maybe not in the next stream, but in the other one I might. If, like I said, if you send me the link, I will go over some of the verses here. But what? Tell me if this is true, legends. Is it true that when God or Allah appeared to the Prophet Muhammad, I think it was in a cave. I'm not sure. Don't get me wrong, but he appeared to him, and it says that Muhammad had great fear when he appeared. Um, let me know if that's true, because to me, the true God shouldn't cause you to be in fear.
Especially not when part of him is in all of us.
Yeah.
That would make us really scary, wouldn't it?
All right, guys. So, any questions? Any comments? Before I end this stream, I had a few more links, but I'm gonna save it for next time.
Yeah, it's getting late, isn't it? Oh gosh, what is it with you? 1:20?
Yeah. What time is it for you?
6:20. At least it's not 10 o'clock like last time.
Oh, last time we had, I think, 5 hours or 4 hours. So
Nearly 5. Yeah,
yeah,
it was good.
I hope this one was good too. And
Yeah, yes. It definitely is. It's nice meeting. I just got to scroll up and see your name again.
It's in the groove.
Oh,
In the
you looking for me?
groove.
I'm sorry. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. That was good talking to you. Yes, I enjoy it.
yeah, me too. And nice to see you, legends, as well.
Legends seems like a very nice person because
I think so.
from what I've from maybe it's just propaganda, but from what I heard, um, Muslims would not even care to listen to some crazy subject like this. Um, so I'm glad he's open minded, even if he keeps his faith, it doesn't matter. Like more power to him, but I'm glad he's at least open minded enough to listen. And in the groove, you're gonna love him. Like I, since the first moment I talked to him, I love him because
Oh,
he just has this vibe of peace and calm. He has like this very calming, relaxed voice. I don't know, somebody that I could just I feel like I could close my eyes and not have to worry that he's gonna try to kill me.
Oh, thanks, man. I definitely yeah, I I can agree with that. That's not too flattering.
No, no, like I mean
I'm-
like I could trust you. That's what I'm trying to say. From the first day I met you, the way that you're calm, you don't talk over anybody, you're you don't sound like you get frustrated if somebody talks over you. You just sound like you have this very good internal peace, and it's it's good
yeah,
to.
I enjoy listening to other people, man. You know, I'm open. I don't think I have anything figured out. You know, I search like everybody else, and when I can listen to other people that are, you know, just even talking about these subjects, right? It's like a lot of people don't like to talk about these things, so yeah, I like to hear what other people's take on it. You know, so I
what
appreciate
state
that.
are you in?
I'm in Louisiana.
All right, okay.
Yeah,
I can think of a little song to do with that from childhood, and I can't remember it now. With a
yeah. There's a
banjo
lot
on
of
my
songs.
knee.
Yep, a lot of songs about Louisiana.
Hey, Susanna, that's the one I got in my mind.
Ah, yeah. I watched a video about that song. You know, that song actually has some. It's kind of dark. You ever looked really at the lyrics of that, or there's like a full song that has more lyrics? It's pretty interesting. Maybe something to look
Um,
up on and think about it later.
somehow I knew you were going to say something dark. I don't know why.
Yeah, yeah. I know it freaked me out too. It's a recent video I watched too of somebody who she grew up with the song. She loved it. She wanted her name to be Susanna, and she was
Right.
telling me crazy, but she broke down the lyrics of it, and it was like, whoa, I didn't know all that was in there. Might be something to look up. Or I have to see if that video is still up. That's what I'm gonna do.
So I'm sure I'll get a subject for tomorrow because my mind is always making connecting dots. But either way, if you guys are gonna be in the next live stream, if from here to the next live stream you think of something, you have an epiphany, you have a question, whatever, write it down and we'll talk about it. Like it doesn't have to just be my topics. Whatever you guys find, I'm open to listening as well.
Legend said he's answered your question if you didn't see it above.
Let me see. He says, no, the prophet asked if he could see Allah, but Allah said he can't handle his sight. And then Allah put a glimpse of himself on top of a mountain, and our prophet fainted. That's why we only can see Allah. Okay. It sounds like it sounds like just like in the Torah where it says that God can't show his face or they'll die or something like that. Um, or even though there it says you can't, and then at the same time there is verses that say that Moses saw him face to face and then his face was shining or something like that. And another verse says that it's not shining but that he grew horns. So there's a little debate on that part. And also another description of Yahweh is that supposedly he had many backs. Like that Moses only saw his back and he had multiple backs or something like that.
It kind of makes me think of Medusa when I heard you talking about that, right? You couldn't look at the face or you turn to stone.
Oh yeah,
And then
that makes sense
that
too.
made me
And
that that made me think of the stone, made me think of a lot of those big stone statues, right? You
yeah,
look into mud fossils and that whole thing.
and what did Medusa have? She had like snakes on her head, right, or something like that.
Right. Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm gonna look
Now
up
there's
some
another
on this
thing.
stone.
God talks about God talks about Leviathan. If you guys know, Leviathan is like a sea dragon. So he's a dragon also, it's reptilian, but it's from the sea, and he created it. But if you think about it, Leviathan, the first four letters is Levi, which was
Hmm.
supposed to be the priesthood of of Israel. The priests were called the tribe of Levi. So again, there's the whole reptilian thing keeps going. Oh, another one now I just remembered. When Paul, before he turned to Paul, when he was Saul and he was on the way to Damascus, and he supposedly saw Jesus and it was a light, it said the scales fell off his eyes.
Hmm.
Usually reptiles are scaly.
Right.
So my point is this whole reptilian thing is in every single culture. It's even in the Bible, New and Old Testament. What it means, I'm not sure. Some people say they're good, some people say they're bad. I personally don't think it's good. But it also goes back to when the snake bites you, you get poisoned. But also the same poison is the antidote. So
Right.
it's like the sickness and the cure at the same time.
Mhm.
That's let me see. In heaven you will see Allah as a reward for your deeds. That's why the world is only a test, and your deeds, actions, and beliefs is what gets you into heaven. Not like the Christians that say that you just have to believe in Jesus.
Faith without works is dead,
Yes,
isn't it? Yeah.
that's also in the Christian. So, um, if you want, can you explain that to him? Because I think he was taught um a little bit of religious propaganda, like fake. Because yeah, they do say if you believe in Christ that He died for you and all that, um, you'll be saved. But it still says faith without works is dead. So if you don't have faith and they're not proven by your works along with your faith, then you were never really never
You
really
never
believed
knew.
basically.
Yeah.
It's because of Paul. Paul hijacked what Jesus had taught and basically said that you, once you've been born again, that that's that. You don't. He The works didn't matter. It was just faith. And so you find in a lot of fundamental churches, that's what they believe, that they now they have the faith, they can really do more or less what they want until they die.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So
That's
and
how it is here. Yeah.
Paul had all the characteristics of the Antichrist because
yeah,
he was
yeah,
boastful. He was saying whoever that this is the Christ gospel. Whoever adds on to this, it's lying. Even if the angels come and tell you something different, it's a lie. He said that he was a super apostle, meaning he was better than the other 12 apostles. Um, at one point, he says that he got followers by guile, and guile means lying. So he's basically saying I lied to get people to believe in me. Um, he says a bunch of crazy stuff. So definitely, Paul is
yeah.
very suspect.
Hmm.
Yeah, just saying to legends, because he said that in the Bible it says you have to do deeds, and churches and Christians don't. But that's because something evil has seeped in I mean, I don't go to church because I don't see any love there in the congregations. Not really. Not real love. You can see the way they look down at the homeless and criminals, and they're quite judgmental in congregations, legends. So, yeah, I mean, just to put your hand up and say that you believe and then do nothing about it, well, it's ridiculous.
And another thing about Paul is he saw him on the road to Damascus, and he was in the desert. And there's a verse that Christ says, if somebody says, "Here's Christ, there's Christ," or in the desert, believe them not. So it's kind of he kind of prophesied that someone was gonna say that they saw him, but it was gonna be a lie. And if you read the story, when they ask him about his conversion, he tells three different versions of the story.
Yeah, the thing is about Paul, though, is he can say the most beautiful things as well, like the one about, 1 Corinthians 13, about faith, hope, and love. Maybe
Yeah.
someone else inserted that. Maybe somebody else put that in there and
Well,
hid it in.
there's also a theory that out of all the books that he supposedly wrote, only like 7 or 8 of them are actually his, and the other ones, they're not really sure he wrote them. So
No, that's right.
maybe somebody maybe somebody pretended to be Paul to make him look bad. God knows.
It's a
Especially
big
the
mystery.
when Paul says that the woman should stay quiet at church and only ask her husband like in private. Like she couldn't, if she went to church, she couldn't ask any questions. She had to be quiet the whole time. Uh, you know.
There's some symbolism about that, though. I read about having to keep a hat on. That's symbolic as well, but I forgot what the symbolism is. You never know, that could have been inserted at a later date as well, couldn't it?
Yeah,
Because he had women friends. Who was Priscilla? There was Priscilla, wasn't there? And there was someone else. He had female acquaintances that were teaching, basically, or that would offer hospitality.
I'm not sure about. I think there was a woman that was teaching actually. Can't remember her name now. Well, it's kind of funny because supposedly Mary Magdalene was a disciple of Jesus, but they never put her as teaching anybody. But if you read the Gnostic text, it says that she actually did teach, and she was one of the smartest out of all the disciples.
Hmm. I'm going to have to look better into Gnosticism because you said it's a Gnostic world order the other day, didn't you? Sorry, a Gnostic New World Order.
Well, this is the thing. I personally think that they hijacked the Gnostics because most of these movies about transhumanism and all these kind of things that Hollywood puts out, it does have Gnostic undertones. But if you read the Gnostic scriptures for yourself, they never claim to to like they say that for you to go back to God, you have to die. Like they never talk about creating a new world here. They say you have to escape this world. So to me, anything that pushes making a paradise or making you immortal while on Earth, I think it's a lie.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting that you say that about that the front of the brain causes you to lie. I've actually heard quite the opposite. I heard that the front of the brain is what helps you connect to the truth.
Yeah, because if you lobotomize somebody, then they've got no sense left, have they? That's the front, isn't it?
Right.
I'm not sure. Is it?
Yeah, that's your the well, the prefrontal cortex and all that is yes, where that's your higher what do they call it? It's higher level thinking and functioning. Yeah, your cognitive areas. And yeah,
So yeah,
lobotomized. That's what they did. They just scrambled that whole front part. Crazy.
And I was going to say to Legends as well, because he's telling about some science there, different areas of science. And we know that from those regions where Islam came about, that there's amazing things have come from over there. Like, I know a lot of maths was discovered, but there were mathematical geniuses hundreds of years ago over there, and lots more that I probably don't know as well.
you know what's interesting of the word science?
Mm.
Um, conscience, right? Isn't isn't doesn't conscience have the word science in it?
Well, the psi part is, yeah.
There's conscious and there's conscience.
Yeah.
Um, there's slight variations in what they are for sure. They're definitely different.
Okay.
I can't recall right offhand, but conscious, I believe. Let me look it up. Let me guess.
It's funny. I put conscious and then I erased con and I put the just the other word.
Yeah.
Um, it is science, right? It's the word science. Or am I spelling it wrong?
Sometimes confused.
It is.
Conscience is what it says, an inner feeling or voice viewed as acting as a guide for the
No,
rightness
no,
or
but
wrongness.
erase the con and what's the word that's left?
Oh, science, yeah.
But you know that con doesn't mean contrary or fake. It actually means with. So
With,
conscious means with science.
well, then science would be, the definition of science would be what at that point? Let's see.
I don't know. I would have to look at the etymology of science. But
The intellectual practice or activity, study, blah, 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 through observation
so
and experiment.
basically, with knowledge, that's your conscious. I don't know. What is known? Knowledge of something. That's what science means. So yeah, I took away con and I left science. And there's a funny article. It says 13 scientists say there's a black hole in the center of the earth.
Huh.
I just find it funny that
13, huh?
yeah, that number 13.
Well, there's supposed to be
Yeah,
a black. There's supposed to be a black sun down there and everything in the center of the earth. And something comes off it and it illuminates down there. This is what this guy that I sent you the link of was saying as well. That there's seas down there.
yeah, it's supposed to be all kind of whole underground cities and oasis type areas. Yeah. Well, some of
Yeah,
that's in Antarctica too. Yeah.
everything.
Mhm.
Well, if there's both, then there's the duality again. You have the sun and you have a black hole.
Yeah.
I I I don't know. I personally think that's a little far fetched, but
It's going deep.
so
Yeah,
darkness
the
and
hollow
light
earth.
inside of you.
But the Greek lady that I told you about, she quoted from scientists saying that our universe is located in the singularity of a black hole. Once you go past the singularity, where do you go? Into a white hole.
Hmm.
where light comes out through the other side or whatever.
I think so. That's what the diagram looked like. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard some stuff recently where they're starting to question what uh what they really know about black holes. Like they were saying that everything gets sucked in, and I think I'm hearing that people are now saying that it's that a black hole is more like a almost like a dark star where it's actually uh, displacing the space around it. I guess I don't know. It just calls into question again that everything you think you know you can rely on and build on. Everything's in question.
Yeah. Some scientists are saying that because I was saying to Avidan the other day, and he's heard of that. That some scientists say that that everything has happened in an instant, and that because we're in a black hole, that's why time is stretched out.
Hmm.
But really, everything's just happened all at once. That's an amazing thought, isn't it?
Yeah. And you know what's funny? You read the Gnostic scriptures, right? You read the story of Sophia?
I haven't. I've read them, but I haven't. I mean, I'd have to go back and read them again, so I couldn't really discuss them at this point. I'd have to read it again. But carry on.
Well, in the pleroma, which is where the true father is, there's different aeons, which are aspects of him. And the
Yeah.
last pair, they're all in pairs. The last pair is wisdom, and I think the other one's called longed for, or wishing, or desire, or something. Um, and supposedly, how this world came about is that this aspect of God called wisdom desired to know the true Father, which, if you go back to it, is the wisdom of God trying to know Himself, right?
Okay.
And that desire to know the true Father caused her to disconnect from her pair and explode in an energetic explosion, and that's how the universe came about.
Isn't
That
that
sounds that's the Big Bang.
isn't that child called Yaldabaoth or something?
Yeah, that's the first thing that came out.
Yeah.
Um, but the point is that she caused an explosion and the universe came out. As far as I know, the Big Bang, it's not that old, and the Gnostics are from a long time ago. The Gnostics
Hmm.
was like 80 years after the death of Christ. So like it's funny how they pretty much talked about the Big Bang without having any science to back it up.
So you said the Yalda Bayoff, right? You said she caused the Big Bang. Is that what you said?
No, no, Sophia
No,
caused the Big
Sophia.
Bang.
Ah, Sophia. Okay.
But the
Wh-
Because it.
explosion, she called, what I understood was that the creator of this creation doesn't sound very educated, but
Huh.
is Yaldabaoth. And I was going to ask you, Avidan, is that the same as Satan, or is it a different being?
Um, Basically, from my understanding, um, he is the devil. Because remember, the
Okay.
Gnostics believes that he's the devil, and Jesus comes from the true Father. The story is wisdom, or Sophia, wants to know God, and her desire to know God causes her to disconnect from her pair, and thus cause an explosion, creating the material universe. Um, but her explosion was more like creating the elements, right? And
Yeah.
then the first spirit that came out was Yaldabaoth, and then Yaldabaoth uses all the elements to create the universe.
Yeah.
And that's alchemy.
That's alchemy.
Yeah, using the elements to create.
Yeah, true.
That would be alchemy. Yeah. Hmm.
But then there's
Uh,
another level of beings, isn't there? Because they all have different jobs in creating humans. They give them different attributes, don't they?
yeah. Well, all the attributes come from the true Father, down to the aeons that are also aspects of him. And then Sophia, which is wisdom, like I said, creates this material universe. And then Yaldabaoth um, uses the elements. That's why he's called the craftsman, because he crafted the world. And that's the god that the the Masons worship, because it's called the Grand Architect.
Yeah.
Um, the architect and a creator is two different things, because an architect creates the blueprint, right? And then the Yaldabaoth and his angels together created everything. That's why in the Bible it says, "Let us make man in our image," because they all played a role in creating the world together.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the creator is the source of everything, while the architect just puts stuff together, basically.
Mm.
But even Yaldabaoth is an aspect of the true Father. It's just a fallen form of him, the fallen aspect.
Mm.
Because the according to the Valentinians, which are a Gnostic sect, Yaldabaoth isn't purely evil. He's evil in the sense that he wants the humans that he created to follow him only, and he's jealous and all these kind of things. But how do I say this? Like he he's like an overprotective father, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And then since he's imperfect, because since wisdom created this place without the pair, it's imbalanced. So all Yaldabaoth's creations, all the angels were also imperfect, and that's why his angels or a group of them rebelled against him.
Legend saying goodbye. Bye. See you again.
Later, man.
Bye, legends. Thanks for being here. So yeah, that's the Valentinian story, which is that Yaldabaoth isn't purely evil. He's just imperfect because he wants to force love. Like he wants love, but by force instead of giving his creation the ability to choose if they want to love him or not.
Yeah. Well, I
So
bet.
according to that, then Sophia sees the mess that was created, and she repents, and then the true Father sends Christ down to her, and then that's when he reincarnates here.
Okay. Well, I'm going
And
to
it's
have to go as well now.
before you go, it's funny, this Valentinian guy, he supposedly he was running up to be Pope in the Catholic Church, but supposedly he lost the vote, and then he left and created his religion of Gnosticism. So
Okay.
apparently at the beginning people were close to it, but at the end of the day they said no, that's not the truth, and they kicked him out.
So he created it. Okay.
Valentinius, yeah. Don't get it
Okay.
confused with the Emperor Valentine. It's a different person.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
And yeah, send me the notification whenever. Well, it will appear because I'm subscribed to you, of course. Like I said, they're late sometimes, though. Um,
I was gonna ask you, did you get a notification?
I didn't get it under the bell. No, I got it in my when I checked on my home. When I went to home, it was in there. Luckily, because it kind of pot luck what's going to turn up on the home page actually.
Right.
So it wasn't under the bell. No.
That's weird because I scheduled it like over an hour in advance. Because usually when I subscribe to other channels and they do the same thing, I could see the scheduled live stream, and like that I know when it's coming out. So that's what I did. But apparently you're not getting the notification. So
No, I saw it on my homepage 3 hours in advance. I actually saw it 3 hours before you began, but it didn't come up under the bell. So if I'd just been on doing something different and checking on the bell occasionally, I wouldn't have seen it.
oh, okay.
Are
Make sure
you,
when you hit the bell, you put all notifications because there's like all, and then there's personalized.
I think I've done all, but I'll check again. But are you ever going to do it a bit earlier?
Mhm.
Most likely in the weekends.
On the weekend? Okay, all right.
So
All
like on
right then. Well,
Saturday, I'll probably start. Um, what time did I start for you right now?
today, oh well, I think it must have been. Oh, I know. It was 3:15 here. That's right.
3 in the morning or 3 in the afternoon?
3 in the morning.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
I. That's
Yeah.
why my first comment was I don't know why I'm still up. I should have been in bed like for hours, but it was one thing and another. I don't know, one thing and another.
Well, maybe because you were supposed to be here.
Maybe, who knows?
So yeah,
I've
Sunday
still
I'll
got
try to do throughout the day. What time? What's our time difference? How many hours?
6
what is it
hours.
with you? It's five, isn't it, at the moment? What do
For
you want
me,
at the
it's
moment?
1:52.
Yeah, we're 5 hours at the moment. It'll be four after our clocks go back in October.
So what's the best time during the day on a Sunday for you?
Oh, early Sunday evening, that because then it'd be like Sunday afternoon for you and early Sunday evening here for me. Or just bear in mind that I'm 5 hours ahead. So if I can be finished by 11 p.m. or midnight, that'd be great.
Okay, so what about 6 o'clock your time?
Yeah, that'd be brilliant. But of course, you've got to do what you've got to do, so you don't have to base it around me. But if you can do it at 6, yeah, that'd be lovely.
Okay. No, in the groove. If I don't know if he's gonna be here often or not, but we
Yeah, I
have
try to pop in. I try to catch. I got the same problem. I check my news feed, and usually they'll put the lives all the way at the top, and then sometimes they don't. You have to scroll all the way down. I got a bunch of stuff in my feed, so
but you and me is like an hour difference, right?
yeah, it's 1 o'clock here now.
Okay, so you're an hour earlier.
Behind
So,
you.
oh,
Yeah.
behind me, sorry.
Mhm.
So 12 o'clock would be good for you on a Sunday?
12. That's noon.
PM.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
All right,
I'm
I'll try
just
to do
sitting.
that on Sunday. During the weekdays, it's gonna be this late, so I understand, Prism, if you can't come every day. I didn't know it was that 3 in the morning for you. So,
But at least if you upload it, I can listen anyway.
well, yeah, you can.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good night. Thank you all for being here and for
Yeah, man.
Thank
sharing.
you. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Good
All right.
night.
Bye.
What was her name again? Is she? You said Prism. Is she in the chat here?
Well,
Iridescent Prism. Is that her?
well, her YouTube name says Prism, but then when she's a guest, it says Erin. So
Oh,
That's
okay.
me.
Here.
That's me.
Oh, okay. Oh, nice
Bye
to meet you,
bye.
man.
Bye.
bye, Erin. Good night or good day.
Cool.
All right, in the groove.
All right, man. You
Thank you
said
so
you
much,
might
man.
hop on tomorrow or something, or another day, or just randomly.
Yeah,
Cause
tomorrow's gonna
I
be
got,
the same time if you want to be here.
all right. Yeah, I got
I
some
think it
stuff I'm gonna
will
look up. I
be
might
at
bring some.
10:15 p.m. for me, so 9, right?
Okay. Yeah. Hmm.
You're 1 hour earlier than me, right?
Yeah.
So it would be like 9:15 for you. So 9:15 every day I plan to be on here. Whether there's somebody here or not, if nobody's here, then I'll just make it short. If there's somebody here, then it'll be longer because we play back and forth with each other. So,
Right. Cool. All right, man.
all
Yeah,
right,
I'm gonna
man.
hop off here and I'll see you then.
All right, man. Take care.
All right.